ABC Sports presents NCAA college football. Today, live from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the 7th-ranked and undefeated Seminoles of Florida State meet the LSU Tigers. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to come see the all-new 1980 Chevrolets at your Chevy dealers. By Goodyear Tiempo, the all-season radio. It eliminates winter tire changeover. By Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight, Federal Express. And by ANCO. Make sure your windshield wipers work when you need them. A new set of ANCO wiper blades every year can help you see your way clear. Big crowd as usual on hand in Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Very significant game between the 7th-ranked Seminoles of Florida State University and the Bengal Tigers of LSU, ranked 17th in this week's UPI poll. And there are the Fighting Tigers of LSU. On the season, the record 4-2-0, the 2 losses to Southern Cal and to Georgia. The toughest loss, a 17-12 heartbreaker here at home about a month ago when then top-ranked Southern Cal came in here and got everything they could handle. Hello, I'm Jim Lampley. This is a significant game not only because it matches 2 of the top 20 teams in the country, but because of Florida State and their position. They are ranked 7th. But 4 years ago, when Bobby Bowden first came to Tallahassee to take over the Florida State football program, they had won 4 of their preceding 33 games. There are some disbelievers. There are some people who don't believe that they are one of the 10 best football teams in the country. They have a chance to prove it today by beating a team with such great tradition here in Baton Rouge as LSU. They could really take a big step forward. And here come the Seminoles of Florida State. The record on the season, 6 wins, no losses. They have had an open week to prepare for this game. And to be honest, the Seminoles have been pointing toward this game in Baton Rouge ever since preseason practice began. Once again, I'm Jim Lampley. Working with me today, Coach Frank Broyles. And Coach Broyles, when you talk about this game, I think the most interesting element that comes up immediately, both teams on offense have an unusual quarterbacking system. They both have 2 quarterbacks who share the duties almost equally. Very unusual.
That's very unusual, and it's really not planned. It just happens. Bob Bowden told me yesterday that he hopes this is the last time he's faced with it. And there's a reason for this. When you alternate the quarterbacks, everybody in the stands notice. When you alternate in the other position, nobody cares. And what could happen in this situation is that the players and fans choose one player as their favorite, and they want him in the ball game, and this can hurt your morale of your football team.
Florida State's 2 quarterbacks, Wally Woodham and Jimmy Jordan, both from Tallahassee Leon High School in Tallahassee, Florida. Both excellent passers, and the Seminoles entered this year as one of the nation's top passing teams. The offense really hasn't performed that way, and perhaps for that reason, Bobby Bowden has made a very significant decision today. They've had a 10-game win streak over 2 years. Woodham has started all of those 10 games. Today, Bowden is going with Jordan.
Well, the reason is that he's going to open up in this ball game, and Jimmy Jordan has the strongest arm, the quickest release, and Jim, he's an impromptu quarterback. He can get a hot hand like he did against Navy last year when he threw 4 touchdown passes in the second half.
The 2 LSU quarterbacks are David Woodley and Steve Ensminger. Woodley started the first 4 games of the year for the Tigers. Ensminger will start today as he has started the last 2 games. Ensminger perhaps the better thrower of the 2.
Woodley, yes, he is, Jim. And Woodley's had a little slump, and that's why you have 2 quarterbacks in this situation. You bench the one that's having a slump and put the other one in.
Okay, we'll be back in a second for the opening kickoff. Perhaps the key confrontation in the game will be between the Florida State offense and the LSU defense. We'll talk about that as we go along, and we'll be back to start this game. Just about ready now for the kickoff. Florida State will be kicking the football off to start the game, and deep to receive for LSU is number 22, Chris Williams, who is one of the nation's leading kickoff returners. You see the statistics right there. Capice, number 17, to kick it off for FSU. A junior from Miami who handles only the kickoff duties. Another man, Davey Capellan, kicks extra points and field goals for the Seminoles. A late arriving crowd, most of them probably stayed at home to see the end of the Houston-Arkansas game, and with a slight breeze of about 5 to 10 miles per hour behind him, Capice kicks the ball out of the end zone. They'll start at the 20-yard line. Here are the backs and receivers you'll be seeing on offense for LSU. The quarterback, number 5, Steve Ensminger. He's from here in Baton Rouge. Hokie Gaijan coming back from an injury at tailback. Danny Swallow is the fullback. Robert DeLee, the tight end. They'll use 3 men at that position. Carlos Carson, the key man in the passing game. Number 3, the wide receiver. And the split back, who sometimes lines up in the backfield, sometimes wide, is Jerry Murphy. First down from the 20-yard line. And the give is to Hokie Gaijan, and he has about 3. Tackle on the play by Reggie Herring, one of 2 outstanding linebackers for Florida State on a defense that ranks among the nation's leaders. Offensive line for LSU, Charles McDuff, the left tackle, a huge man, 268 pounds. Next to him at guard, Tom Tully, number 65, a sophomore. Center, a 4-year player, 4-year letterman, John Ed Bradley. John Watson from Bossier City, Louisiana, is the right guard, and Ed Stanton from Friendswood, Texas, the tackle. 2 big tackles at 250 and 268. Second down, Ensminger gets it out in the flat. Jude Hernandez, the fullback, breaks a tackle, fumbles the football, and it will be Florida State football. So an immediate turnover at the 32-yard line. The man who gets up with the ball is number 42, Monk Bonasort, the free safety.
Watch it again. We'll see that Ensminger sets up the screen beautifully. Hernandez cuts inside the kick-out block, but he doesn't protect the football. Let's see if we can detect who knocks it loose. Yes, Bonasort knocked it loose. Tough break for LSU at this stage of the game.
Bonasort with the fumble recovery for Florida State. It was Arthur Scott, the defensive end, who made the first contact on the play, and the Seminoles now with a golden opportunity at the LSU 32-yard line. Jimmy Jordan starting the game at quarterback. First time this year. He wants to go deep right now. That's Jackie Flowers, and he's overthrown him in the end zone. So Jordan tried for the home run right away and didn't get it. Here are the backs and receivers you'll be seeing on offense for Florida State. Jimmy Jordan, the quarterback. You'll also see a lot of number 12, Wally Woodham. Michael Whiting, first start of the year at tailback for him. He's a sophomore. Mark Lyles is the heart of the running game, a big fullback. Brady King, good pass catcher at tight end. And on second down and 10 yards to go, Jordan under a rush. He does not have quick feet, and he's dropped for about a 3-yard loss. George Atia, number 60, the big middle guard for LSU, one of the better middle guards in the country, chased Jordan and dropped him for that sack. So now it will be 3rd down, 13. You look at the offensive line for Florida State. There is the best blocker on the front, Ken Lanier. Mike Good, the left guard next to him. That's where they'll go on short yardage situations. Center John Madden replaces Gil Wesley, who has been hurt. Greg Futch is the right guard, and the right tackle is Tom Brannon at 240 pounds. A big offensive line. 3rd down. 12 yards to go now for a Florida State first down. Loss of 2 on the last play. In the flat to Whiting. He beats 1 man and has a first down inside the 10-yard line. Jerry Hill finally made the stop for LSU. But a big play on 3rd down for the Seminoles, a 26-yard gain.
Let's watch it from the end zone. You'll notice that Florida State had a man in motion, but look at the poise of Jordan as he lays the ball out. And of course, Whiting makes a great run after the catch.
First down, just inside the 9-yard line. Chance for the Seminoles to strike early. Setbacks are Whiting and Lyles. The give is to Lyles. And the 232-pound fullback from Buffalo is stacked up at about the 6-yard line.
Jim, when you have a real determined pass offense like Florida State, 3rd and 10 doesn't mean much to you. It just means 1 down. And they executed perfectly on that 3rd and 10 situation.
They got 3 on 1st and goal. It is 2nd down from inside the 6. Watch the left side of the FSU offensive line, Lanier and Good, if they choose to stay on the ground. Whiting. Hole closed quickly. He's down to the 4. George Atia, the middle guard, reacted quickly over to his left to help make the tackle.
Mike Whiting has been the substitute fullback. He's playing tailback, starting his first ball game. Number 27, Mike Whiting, turns upfield, protects that football, and picks up short yardage. That's all you're looking for on the goal line, is get what the block it gives you and then run it determined as you can.
3rd down goal from the 3-yard line. Jackie Flowers is split to the right. And Jimmy Jordan wants a timeout. A Florida State receiver was trying to get on the field to bring in a new play. He didn't make it. Jordan called timeout. When we come back, FSU will have 3rd and goal.
It's Chevy Truck Showdown time.
As we come back to Tiger Stadium, Florida State on their first possession of the football game after the fumble recovery by Bonasorte. 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line. Touchdown, Sam Platt.
Let's watch it again. It's a busted defense on LSU's part. They had a man in motion, and no one covers Platt, who is slanting to the inside. He's wide open. If you look in the far corner, you see 2 LSU white shirts on the side covering Whiting, who had gone in motion.
Rick Stockstill will hold, and Davey Capellan will try to add the extra point. He does. With 11 minutes, 49 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Florida State, capitalizing on a fumble recovery, has gone in to take a 7-0 lead. And we take another look at the touchdown pass, Jordan to Sam Platt.
Watch Platt break to the inside, and you'll see 2 LSU defenders over in the left corner of your screen. Platt was uncovered, a busted assignment in the secondary, which was very unfortunate for LSU, but excellent execution by Florida State.
Sam Platt, who has been playing behind Phil Williams at one wide receiver position, comes back to the starting lineup today, and the junior from Jacksonville, Florida, picks up a touchdown on the pass from Jimmy Jordan. So, Bobby Bowden, with a calculated gamble, came out with Jordan at quarterback after having started Wally Woodham for 10 straight victories over a 2-season period, and Jordan has rewarded him with a touchdown on the first drive. Bill Capice will kick it off. Number 17, deep to receive again for LSU is 22, Chris Williams. First kick went very deep. This time Williams has it. Picking his spot across the 20 to the 23-yard line. LSU will start their second possession from there. Mark Motzik, number 67, was downfield to make the tackle. He is a starting defensive tackle for Florida State. There's the defensive line for the Seminoles. Warren, Motzik, Simmons, Midland, Arthur Scott. Watch number 50, Ron Simmons. He is one of the very best defensive linemen in college football. Linebackers are Herring and Pirowski. Excellent secondary, Butler, Hunter, Bonasorte, and Jones. Insminger still at quarterback for LSU. Hokie Gaijan dropped. Number 39 coming in from his linebacker position is Reggie Herring. Junior, a former fullback from Titusville, Florida. He's added about 20 pounds to a physique that used to be 195. Now he's up to about 215 or 220, and he is really coming on as a linebacker.
Jimmy leads the Seminoles in tackles with 87, which means he's around the football.
LaFleur, number 89 in the game, replacing Robert DeLee at tight end. Second down, 11 yards to go. Insminger keeps. He's tackled in the open field by Herring, but not before he got it out to about the 28-yard line. They'll face 3rd and 5 from there.
Insminger was running the option play. Here's Insminger's stats rushing the football. Remember, our fans should remember that LSU has a running quarterback. He will run the option plays as he did on that last down.
On 3rd down and 5, Carlos Carson has left the football game, and the Tigers line up with 2 tight ends. They are DeLee and LaFleur. Gaijan goes in motion. Insminger wants Gaijan. Now overthrows intended for Jerry Murphy, the split back out in the flat, and Florida State has forced a punting situation.
Excellent defense by Scott Warren, number 80, the defensive end. He dropped off to cover the 3rd man out of the backfield. He covered him perfectly. Insminger overthrew it to avoid the interception.
John Adams, number 86, a starting defensive end. To punt the ball for LSU, he averages 38.5 yards per kick. Deep to receive it, Gary Henry, number 40, a man who is dangerous. Henry has twice busted punt returns for touchdowns this year. This time he calls fair catch and fumbles it out of bounds. A mild break for the Seminoles as Henry couldn't control it but lost it out of bounds. Florida State leading 7-0. We'll start with the football from their own 34-yard line. 10 minutes still to go in the first quarter when we come back. The Florida State Seminole Band has made the trip up here from Tallahassee. On the field after a 38-yard punt by John Adams, the Seminoles start with the football from their 34-yard line. Jordan wants to throw. Flag is down as Jackie Flowers makes the catch across midfield. going to be offensive interference.
Let's detect the offensive interference on Flowers, number 23. Well, I guess we got an end zone shot, but he pushes Britt, number 11, back as he breaks off and comes clear and controls the ball, but it's offensive interference, which is a 15-yard penalty. Let's watch the isolated. Watch Flowers, 23, push deep. Let's watch and see if we can detect right here. His hands, what? Ooh! No way you can play pass defense after you get pushed. Good call by the officials. Obviously, he's wide open, Flowers. Completion, but all for naught.
The mark-off is back to the 19-yard line, 15 yards, loss of down. It will be second down 25 for the Seminoles from there. Officials, James Harper, Dennis Riggs, Robert Towns, Joe Pipkin, Al Granning, Jim Campbell, Ronnie Baines, Southeastern Conference crew. This is Lyles, and he has only a few. Back to the 23-yard line, once again, George Atiyah. The middle guard, number 60, a junior from Allentown, Pennsylvania, came over to make the play for LSU. Third down, 22 yards to go as you look at the starters along the defensive line for LSU. The man to watch there, number 94, Lyman White, makes a lot of big plays for the Fighting Tigers. Jordan wants his tight end, Grady King, and he overthrows him. So the Seminoles now will punt from deep in their territory. Coming on to punt the ball will be number 3, Ron Stark, a sophomore from 50 Lakes, Minnesota, averaging over 40 yards per kick. He's an interesting story, a decathlete. In fact, the Metro 7 Conference individual decathlon champion. And deep to receive the punt for LSU is Chris Williams, who's a tough punt returner. LSU under Charlie McClendon, known for years for their kick returning.
They have a different kick return, and maybe we can see it if the kick is adequate. They use a crisscross, reverse play. Let's see if they can set it up.
Well, the punt lands short and rolls dead at the 44-yard line, so we didn't get a chance to see the return, but we will see the Bengal Tigers of LSU starting with the football in excellent field position at their own 45-yard line. 34-yard kick by Stark. It is homecoming day here, Coach.
Yes, they're the homecoming queens. LSU is known for their pretty girls and their fine football team.
They are pretty. First down 10 from the 45-yard line. 3 wide receivers for the Tigers. Ensminger still the quarterback. Throws over the middle. Intended receiver was Orlando McDaniel. And the man who came over McDaniel's back to bat the ball down was Keith Jones. The crowd thought it was interference, but the ball had been touched before. It was a free ball.
You're exactly right, Jim. When the ball is touched, deflected by a defensive man or an offensive man, it's a free ball. There's no more such thing as pass interference. You can push, shove, do anything you want to get to the football, as Jones, number 28, did. Good play.
You saw Herring get his hand on it first, and then Jones batted it down. Second down 10 from the 45-yard line. The man in motion is McDaniel. LSU has come out gunning. This is Carlos Carson. First down to the Florida State 35-yard line. Number 21, Bobby Butler, made the stop there. Carlos Carson from West Palm Beach, Florida, a tough man to handle.
Let's watch Ensminger. Watch the poise. He's looking, going to throw between the linebackers where he can rifle the ball in. Hits Carson right on the numbers. Big play. Now LSU is threatening.
There's one that got away from the Seminoles and the Gators and all those other in-state Florida schools. He was not a heavily recruited player. Carlos Carson. First down. Pitch to Guyjon. Nice hole. Down to the 30-yard line. Walter Carter, senior defensive tackle number 76 from Richmond, Virginia, made the stop for the Seminoles.
Jim, we're always talking about momentum. When you get the momentum, you see the team sprint out that huddle a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. They get up the line of scrimmage, and they come off with a good takeoff. And LSU definitely has the momentum.
There's a remarkable coach in that dark red sweater, Bobby Bowden. Record at Florida State, 29 wins, 11 losses. When you consider where they came from. Guyjon, one man to beat. If he stays in bounds, he's got it. He did not. He stepped out of bounds at the 8-yard line. 23-yard run for Guyjon. Another first down for LSU. A near miss.
Jim, let's watch it again. It's a quick sweep, quick pitch. Guyjon has the ball. He's supposed to turn up whenever he sees daylight, and it was just a small crack, but he knows where the goal line is. Watch him, number 47, outrun the Jones, number 28, to the boundary, but couldn't stay in bounds. Right there on the 8-yard line.
First and goal now for the Tigers, trailing 7-0 in the football game, but moving now. Ensminger wrapped up, and there you see number 50, Ron Simmons, the awesome middle guard of the Seminoles. 6'1", 234 pounds, a junior from Warner Robins, Georgia. And he is a remarkable player.
Watch number 50, Simmons. He's an outstanding football player. He controls the blocker, but more than this, he penetrates in the backfield and catches the quarterback Ensminger from behind. You need a play like this to turn that momentum around and give your team some help.
Second down goal now from the 13-yard line. Carlos Carson going into the end zone. Carson, the intended receiver. He makes the catch. A flag is down. If the call is against Florida State, this is a touchdown.
It's against Florida State.
Touchdown.
Jim, they were crossing the receivers, and the man on the right going across to the left evidently pushed the linebacker out of the way.
Not against Florida State, Coach.
Oh, I'm sorry.
LSU, offensive interference.
I meant against LSU.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I just had the wrong team. The offensive end crossing from the right to the left bumped into the linebacker and kept him from covering Carson. Good call by the officials.
So just as you called it, offensive interference. Football moves back now to the 28-yard line twice. Tiger players have gone into the end zone with the football. Neither one was a touchdown. Gaijan stepped out of bounds. Carson's touchdown catch nullified by offensive interference. Third down goal now from the 28. Carson. Keith Jones separates him from the football. Keith Jones, number 28, a junior strong safety from Wildwood, Florida.
Will he get a good grade on Monday when the coaches grade the film because he collisioned the receiver? Let's watch 28 Jones. As Carson is breaking across the middle, Ensminger is waiting till he gets open, waiting right for the ball between the linebackers, but let's watch the collision right there and jars the ball loose. Number 28, Keith Jones.
On to try a 45-yard field goal now is the LSU place kicker Don Bartell. Number 8, David Woodley. The other quarterback holds for Bartell. He's kicking into a very mild breeze, and this kick is going to be short. So the Tigers waste a scoring opportunity. The big mistake, the offensive interference call that nullified a touchdown pass. And with 7 minutes, 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Florida State still leads it 7-0. We'll be back. We're back at Tiger Stadium on the campus of LSU in Baton Rouge. Florida State now with the football out at the 28-yard line after Bartell's missed field goal from 45 yards. First down, Jordan throws to Flowers, complete at the 35-yard line. Number 40 over there is Marcus Quinn, the strong safety, but the completion to Flowers picks up 7. It will be second down 3.
One of the base passes in football, when the wide receiver single covered, go down 5 steps, break for the boundary, and the ball is there. Completion, 7-yard gain.
This time Flowers to the bottom of your screen and Phil Williams to the top. And that is Whiting, sophomore tailback from Largo, Florida, who had carried the ball only 29 times coming into this game, has a couple.
Florida State, Jim, is committed to the offense. Their quarterback stays over on the practice field and virtually works on nothing but the passing game. A substitute quarterback works on the running game so that he can't have perfection in a game such as this.
Third down, 2.5 yards to go. Flowers to the top of your screen. Hardest Johnson, number 22, a freshman, to the bottom of the screen. Whiting in motion. And Lyles has the football and the first down. He's across the 39-yard line, so FSU will have the first down there. Now let's look back at the offensive interference call, which wiped out the touchdown pass to Carlos Carson.
Carson is breaking across deep in the end zone, and someone right in the middle had run across into the linebacker. Can't see it. It was a touchdown for LSU, except for the penalty. Call back.
Bill Williams to the bottom of your screen. Jackie Flowers to the top on first down. Whiting again in motion. Florida State has come out ripping, as Bobby Bowden said they would. This is Whiting. Good coverage down the sidelines by Chris Williams, the junior cornerback from Tioga, and an incompletion for Jimmy Jordan.
Jim, Chris Williams, number 22, was second in the nation in passing receptions last year with 8. He already has 3 this year. he is one of the premier defensive backs in the Southeastern Conference.
Bobby Bowden strolls the sidelines. Jimmy Jordan on the game, 3 of 6 now for 36 yards. This is the first time this season that the Seminoles have played this wide open on offense. Flowers and Hardis Johnson are the receivers. Jordan wants Flowers deep. He's got it. At the 16-yard line. It was a touchdown if he could have kept his feet. He beat Willie Teal and Chris Williams down the middle. 44-yard completion, Jordan to Flowers.
Let's watch it again. He drops the ball right in the arms of Flowers, number 23, but let's watch the concentration. Right, perfect concentration. He controlled the ball for the big completion. Let's watch it again. One thing that Bobby Bowden told me, he said Jim Jordan has a ball that you can't outrun, and here's a perfect example of it. Excellent play.
Whiting on first down gets it inside the 15 down to the 12-yard line. Willie Teal made the tackle from his free safety position. It will be second down, 4 yards to go. I'll make it 5 yards to go. They must get to the 7 for a first down. As you look at Charlie McClendon in his 18th year as a head coach here at LSU, and this is the swan song, and the last year on the job.
He's president of the American Football Coaches Association this year.
Bowser now in the football game at middle guard for LSU. He's number 58. Whiting gets to the 10. It will be third down there from Florida State. You see 77 Benji Thibodeau is there, 58 Bowser.
Jim, we've seen Florida State go deep a couple times in this first quarter. Bobby Bowden told me he thought he could get behind the LSU secondary as they have a tendency to lay up on the intermediate passes about 15 yards and try to get involved. When they do, if you got a great receiver, you run right by him. That's what happened just a minute ago.
Third down, 3 yards to go at the 10. The Seminoles are 2 for 3 on third down today. Throwing in the flat to Lyles, and he just overthrew it. He had Flowers for a moment in the end zone, but that was not where he was looking.
We have to realize that Florida State is a passing team, and 3rd and 3 is a passing down form. A running football team like LSU might run twice and try to score. Florida State doesn't expect that. We're coming out throwing anywhere on the field.
Jimmy Jordan now 4 of 8 for 80 yards. This will be a 27-yard field goal attempt for Davey Capellan on the year. He is 7 of 10. Rick Stockstill, the third-team quarterback, holds. Kick is up, and he missed it wide to the right. So LSU dodges a bullet there. 3 minutes and 57 seconds still left in the first quarter. As you look at scores from games involving the top 10 teams today, Alabama leading Virginia Tech 21-7 in the third quarter. Nebraska pounding Colorado. Cornhuskers can really roll it up. Later on today, Southern Cal at California. And there's the heartbreaker for Frank Broyles and all Arkansas fans. A 13-10 loss to Houston. Ohio State still playing well. Their quarterback, Art Schleister, having a great year. And Oklahoma now beating Iowa State 14-0 in the third. On first down, David Woodley now in the football game at quarterback for LSU. Loses the football. And LSU recovers. 2 Florida State players had excellent chances at the ball. 42 Bonasort and 28 Jones, but they could not get to it.
Woodley's in the ball game. He's a little bit better runner than Ensminger. Watch him turn up the field, but he doesn't protect the football. This detect right here was knocked out. Watch a great effort, I guess, by Wallace, number 6. Wallace recovers the ball, second team receiver.
Lionel Wallace, a junior, back up to Carlos Carson from Houma, Louisiana, made the big play for LSU. It's a first down for the Tigers out at the 42. And this is Leroy Jones, nursing a sore knee. He did not play last week, but Leroy Jones picks up 6 yards before Edinburgh Richardson makes the stop for Florida State. Both teams starting to use some substitutes. It is 83 degrees here today in Tiger Stadium, so depth could be a factor as the game goes on. After the 5-yard pickup by Jones, it is now second down 5 for LSU. Wallace to the top of your screen, LaFleur to the bottom. David Woodley now the quarterback. The give was to Jude Hernandez, and the sophomore fullback from Baton Rouge was wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage, Paul Purowski. Junior linebacker from Sarasota made the stop for FSU.
The trap play up the middle is not a high percentage play. It makes big yards occasionally, but it has a 0 like it did on that particular occasion. Purowski diagnosed it, made an excellent play.
Third down 5. LSU is 0 for 2 on third down conversions so far in the ballgame. 3 wide receivers and the man in motion. A lot of activity for the FSU defense. Woodley gets away from Herring and gets the first down. Jurowski brings him down as he gets down to the 44. Reggie Herring had a shot at Woodley in the backfield, but could not bring him down. 8-yard pickup and a first down.
How many times have you seen a quarterback make that move, Jim? Herring had a shot on him. He should have made the play. Woodley stopped, pivoted inside, and made the first down.
There's the time remaining in the first quarter. Carson goes to the top of the screen. Jerry Merkley, the split back is to the bottom. Setbacks of Jones and Hernandez. This is Leroy Jones. Stacked up. Excellent play by the cornerback coming hard. That was Bobby Butler. 7th-ranked Florida State, unbeaten on the season, 6 wins and no losses, coming in here to face the same challenge that earlier this season faced then top-ranked Southern Cal. The Trojans came here on a Saturday night to Baton Rouge and had all they could handle before escaping with a 17-12 win. If Florida State can win here, it will lend a lot of legitimacy to their top 10 ranking. Woodley down the middle, and the ball is knocked away. 89 is Greg LaFleur, the tight end, and number 28, who once again made solid contact, was Keith Jones. He's a hard-hitting, strong safety man.
He will get a bonus plus for that play because LaFleur was open in the middle. The ball, I think Woodley hung the ball up just a little bit instead of rifling in there, and Jones searched him, as we say, and knocked him loose. Look at these scores. Boston College defeating Army 32-9.
Pittsburgh burst Navy's bubble, beating the midshipmen 24-7, first loss of the season for Navy. Third down now. And the blitz pays off. Gary Henry, the nickelback in the 5 defensive back defense, came blitzing from the left side and dumped Woodley before he could look downfield.
Let's watch number 40 coming from the left, blitzing Henry. He's blitzing into the secondary, on the quarterback.
Edinburgh Richardson was also there. Now John Adams, second punt of the ball game for LSU. Deep to receive it is Henry. He is going to watch it roll. And it takes a Tiger roll inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. So the Seminoles are pinned back deep in their territory. 48-yard punt for Adams. Ivy League scores.
Yale remains undefeated, beating Pennsylvania. Cornell and Yale will be playing next week.
That game could determine the Ivy League championship. Princeton and Harvard, Colgate and Columbia. I'll tell you, the Yale coach, Carm Koza, is, to me, one of the most impressive men in college athletics.
He certainly is. He's last year president of the American Football Coaches Association. He's done a great job this year with an inexperienced team. He's undefeated and leading the Ivy League.
Jimmy Jordan still at quarterback for Florida State. He has played the entire first quarter, getting his first start of the year. Good fake. Wants to go deep. He's got a man there. It's Flowers. Check it. It was not Flowers. It was Hardis Johnson, the freshman from Tampa. And Jimmy almost had it.
He put a great move on Britt, who's an outstanding secondary man. But Britt did once again what Bowden said. LSU back hesitated momentarily, and you see Johnson in behind the ball thrown just outside the boundary. Let's watch it again. Watch the move right here. He hesitates, goes outside, and Britt, number 11, is defeated on the play, but the ball is overthrown.
Johnson has speed. They expect him to be an outstanding receiver in the future. And Bobby Bowden's pass-oriented offense. The give on second down is to Mark Lyles. And Lyles gets across the 10 to about the 13-yard line. A little breathing room for the Seminoles. Albert Richardson, freshman linebacker for LSU, made the stop. And this will bring up third down. As you see the time ticking away in the first quarter.
Another passing down situation for Florida State.
There's a one-man cheering section here. Jackie Flowers to the top of the screen. Hardis Johnson to the bottom. And Flowers was well covered. Very well covered in the middle. So Ron Stark, who did not hit his first punt very well, is sent onto the field by that man, Bobby Bowden. And Chris Williams, an excellent punt returner, goes deep to wait for it for LSU.
And LSU should have good field position after the punt.
Stark's first kick went for only 34 yards. Quinn and Williams are waiting at midfield. Williams gets away from the first man. He's got a hole. One man to beat. That is the punter, Stark. And Stark slowed Williams down enough to allow the pursuit to get back to him. That saved the touchdown, but LSU will have first and goal after the 43-yard return by Chris Williams.
Watch the effort by Williams, number 22. As he catches the punt, he's hit momentarily, and that sometimes is the best thing that can happen to a punt returner because the other coverers overran the ball, and of course Williams makes a great effort right here.
Michael Whiting was the man who caught Williams from behind. The first quarter ended on that play. LSU will be in great position when we come back. Mike Williams, here's the latest in a long line of great defensive backs to play at LSU. He just ripped off a 43-yard punt return to give the Tigers first and goal inside the 6-yard line. David Woodley is the quarterback. Full house backfield and 2 tight ends. This is Gajan falling forward to about the 3. 51, James Gilbert, the reserve defensive tackle, was there, along with Paul Purowski. And you look at first quarter statistics.
If we look at Florida State, they're heavy on passing, 80-21, and just as we expected, LSU's heavy on running, 61 to 29.
Even game.
LSU won the big play.
That was it, the fumble, which gave Florida State the opportunity to go ahead 7-0 early. Second and goal. Crawling toward the goal line is Danny Swallow. And Swallow, the junior fullback from Elton, is down to the 1. Third down goal from there. The student section rises up.
Let's watch Swallow, number 27, run right up the middle. Watch the determined effort he makes. He's not going to give up. He's still kicking. You can see his feet diving, but the official had stopped the ball, blown the whistle. 3rd and 1.
Third down and goal at the 1. Gajan. Touchdown.
Let's watch Gajan. Watch the determined effort that he makes right here. Number 47, as he goes into the end zone, giving that last surge of leg power to put it across the goal line.
Now Woodley holds for Bartell, and Bartell's kick is through. So, 13 minutes, 55 seconds still to go before halftime, and in what has so far been a wild game, LSU has tied it up. Coach, I don't know if this is the look of things to come or just some strange disease, but it's an unusual place for a college football game. Michael Whiting. Hardis Johnson steps in front of him to take the kickoff, and Johnson gets back to the 22-yard line. The Seminoles will start the offense from there. We look to see who comes on at quarterback. It will be Jordan.
Jordan looked very impressive to me, Jim. He's been on target on the bomb one time. He was a little bit wide out of bounds, which could have resulted into a touchdown. But other than that, he's looked sharp to me.
Wind is only about 5 to 10 miles per hour, just a little breeze, but now Jimmy Jordan will be operating against it. They had it with them in the first quarter when they went to the bomb. We'll see if they stay up top. Mark Lyles and Michael Whiting are the setbacks behind Jordan, who wants to throw. Wants Hardis Johnson and threw it through the hands of James Britt. Now Britt, number 11, is coming back from a broken hand. This is his first return to the lineup since breaking the hand 4 weeks ago. And it's conceivable that he might have held on to the football where he held it.
Well said, Jim. And of course, Florida State had planned to pick on the freshman Thomas, number 33, who hasn't played so far, but been playing in place of Jim Britt, number 11.
Wide receivers now are Phil Williams, 87, and Jackie Flowers, 23. Flowers to the top of the screen. The pitch is to Whiting on second down. He breaks a tackle and has good yardage, 7 yards out to the 30. But the problem with staying with the passing game is when you get the incompletion on first down, you can get good yardage with the running play on second down, and you still have a tough third down call. 3rd and 3, normally a passing call for the Seminoles.
They have to throw the ball unless they run a draw play. Occasionally they might run a draw play, but with Jordan, they're likely to throw some type of short pass to get the first down.
Johnson to the top of the screen, Flowers to the bottom. First man was not open, and Ivan Phillips, number 68, was the first one to get to Jordan. George Atiyah got there, and so did John Adams.
The reason that Jordan had no one to throw to, they had double covered the wide receivers, and it was a quick pass with very little protection, and he broke down, and Jordan was tackled for a loss.
So an effective change in the pass defense on that play by Charlie McClendon's LSU staff, and Stark, who had difficulty on the last punt, partially because of a bad snap, goes back to kick. This time the snap's a little high, but plenty of time to get it away. He kicks it in front of Marcus Quinn, and it's going to roll. Out of bounds at the 45-yard line. LSU continues to operate with outstanding field position after the 35-yard punt by Stark. This week on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, live at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, the Seattle Seahawks versus the Atlanta Falcons, two of the very interesting rising teams in the National Football League. Seattle quarterback Jim Zorn threw 4 touchdown passes last week against Houston. Wide receiver Steve Largent, a Pro Bowler, caught 2 of them. And Steve Bartkowski led his team to the playoffs in Atlanta last year. Fran Tarkenton is currently boosting Bartkowski for possible all-pro honors. He likes him a lot. Gaijan on first down. Gets outside and is dumped at midfield. Number 21, Bobby Butler, who's an outstanding tackler from his cornerback position and also has 5 interceptions, has a word to say to Gaijan there, but Gaijan goes back to the huddle. Gaijan now 7 carries, 40 yards in the ball game. It's 2nd and 5 for the Tigers.
Gaijan, it looks pretty good running that football outside. I didn't know that he'd had that kind of speed, Jim, but he's gotten outside 3 times so far.
Carlos Carson to the bottom of your screen. Setbacks are swallowing Gaijan. Jerry Murphy the split back to the top. This is Gaijan. And LSU starts to stick to the ground and try to grind it out a little bit. Reggie Herring was there along with Scott Warren. It was a pickup of 4. It will be 3rd down 1.
Let's watch Gaijan turn up for the short yardage. Good pursuit out the line of scrimmage by 80 Warren. Scott Warren, an outstanding football player. He turns it back inside and then moves back to the inside and helps on the tackle. Number 80, Scott Warren, a pre-med student.
3rd down and 1. Carlos Carson to the top of the screen. 3 setbacks behind Woodley. And Woodley wants to throw. As Carson. First down at the 37-yard line. Butler gave him a cushion, and Carson simply took the ball into his arms and stepped out of bounds.
On short yardage, you single up, you go into a blitz defense to try to stop the run. It forces you one-on-one, and very wisely, Butler was given a good cushion to Carson. Give him a first down, but not the touchdown. Carson's now completed 2 receptions for 28 yards.
Carson this time to the bottom of the screen on first down. Swallowing Gaijan behind Woodley, and this is Gaijan. And the LSU Tigers are starting to block the corner. Reggie Herring came out from his linebacker position to make the stop, but the lead back, which in this case is Danny Swallow, is starting to block the corner effectively, and this is the LSU ground attack.
Let's watch the blocking right here by Murphy, number 29, blocking on the cornerback, the left of your screen, right there. Makes an excellent play in keeping Hunter out of it for a big gain. Gaijan.
2nd down, 2 yards to go after the gain of 8. Murphy is to the top of the screen, Carson to the bottom. Gaijan. Kurowski got there first and may have wrapped him up short of the first down. It will depend on where they mark the ball. Walter Carter, senior defensive tackle, was also there. You look at Bobby Bowden. Many have written in the newspapers and have rumored the idea that Bobby Bowden may come here to LSU at the end of this year to replace Charlie McClendon, this man, as the head coach. As we mentioned before, McClendon is on his way out. It would be a tough decision for Bowden to leave the program that he has built to such heights now at Florida State.
Jim, he's 24-5 for the last 2.5 years, and that ranks with the best records of any team in the country. He's a great young man that has built the record for himself with a passing game which is exciting and attractive to the Baton Rouge fans.
Florida State people are well aware of the need to keep Bowden happy. It is reported that he has been offered a new 5-year contract. Georgia stays unbeaten in the Southeastern Conference. Now, 3rd down, less than a yard. And Leroy Jones goes over the top to pick up the first down. So the LSU drive stays alive as they move the football inside the 26-yard line.
Mississippi leading Vanderbilt 42-28. I guess Ole Miss with Sloan's only won one game. Mississippi Southern with Bobby Collins done a great job leading Emory Billard's Mississippi State team. Look at all.
Wake Forest came back. The Demon Deacons, the nation's Cinderella team, were down 38-28 going into the fourth quarter, and they came back to win it at Winston-Salem. So for the first time in 30 years, Wake Forest has won 7 games. Could be an offside call against Simmons. Flag is down as Jones gets around the right side for about 4.
Looked like that Woodley staggered his snap count, and I believe that 50, Simmons jumps onside momentarily. 5-yard penalty. Tough break, Florida State. The thing you don't want to have is penalties on this end of the field.
Looks like blue faces are more popular than gray faces. Actually, I guess they're meant to be purple. Probably just turns blue as the day goes on.
In the shade, I guess. Big dance tonight.
I kind of like it.
That's
There's
college
the offside
football.
call.
College football. The color and the pageantry that surrounds it. Exciting.
There you heard it from Coach Frank Broyles. Go out next week, find a college football game, and paint your face. Tracy Porter in the game. It's split back now. He's to the top of the screen. Carlos Carson to the bottom. First down 5 at the 21. This is Jones. And the knee is not bothering Leroy Jones. You saw the quick cut to the outside. He's down to the 16-yard line before Bonasorte, with help from Carter, was able to stop him. I said Bonasorte. I should say Bonasort. The E is silent. But there's Leroy Jones, number 9, a senior from Baker, Louisiana, who missed last week's game against Kentucky but is coming back strong.
He's a strong runner, and of course you need 2 tailbacks if you're going to run them most of the time to alternate, keeps them fresh, gives them a better chance to make yardage.
Tracy Porter to the top of the screen. Lionel Wallace now in the game replacing Carson, and he is to the bottom. First down at the 11-yard line. And Woodley is dropped by Pirowski as he gets it down to about the 7.
Let's watch Woodley turn up the field. A quarterback is taught on the goal line. When you see a crack when you're this close, turn it up. Don't worry about the pitch. Take a chance on getting the loss. Just lower your head, and make what you can. 3.5 yards is better than good on first down this close to the goal line.
Freshman tackle now in the ball game at offensive tackle on the left side for LSU. He's matching up against Walter Carter, 76, who's been playing very well for Florida State. This is Jones as they go the other way to the right side. They can make a first down without getting a touchdown, but they must get the ball inside the 1 to do so.
Jim, the thing that Florida State is missing on defense is a hard corner. All these runs have been breaking outside the defensive ends, and the cornerback is being held back, not being able to come up and support the run at the line of scrimmage, and LSU is taking advantage of it.
Jones now 5 carries for 19 yards as he has come in to relieve Guyhan. Setbacks are Jones and Hernandez on 3rd down and 2 yards to go. Woodley keeps. Touchdown.
Let's watch the touchdown again. You'll see the fake to the fullback, and Woodley just follows the fullback. That's the ideal thing to do from the 2-yard line. There's a little hole. He dives over for the go-ahead touchdown.
10 plays, 55 yards. They ate up 5 minutes in doing so. And LSU has gone on top. Bartell's kick is wide to the right. So the Bengal Tigers lead 13-7. 7 minutes, 22 seconds still to go before halftime. And Florida State's behind for one of the first times. Hardis Johnson has replaced Michael Whiting as the man in the middle of the kickoff formation. He is back there deep as Bartell gets ready to kick it off. They move Whiting to the right side, perhaps because Bartell has been hooking his kickoffs. This one he booms right down the middle. Johnson downs it, as he was being told to do by Keith Kennedy. And so Florida State will start from the 20-yard line. 3rd quarter, North Carolina State and Clemson in a battle. Clemson has a very tough defense. State trying to come back from a tough loss last week. Final score, and a big day for Pat Dye and East Carolina as they tied North Carolina. Look at that one, Coach.
Well, Jim Carlin has got him going.
Lyles and Ricky Williams, the setbacks behind Jimmy Jordan. And this is Ricky Williams, a freshman from Griffin, Georgia, considered by some the outstanding player in Georgia last year, and he's dropped for a 2-yard loss.
This is what the fans can do to help your football team with momentum, Jim. LSU is now ahead. The fans are cheering and yelling. Your players respond, and it stuns the other team.
As you look at the chalk talk for the LSU offense on the sidelines, 15 LSU players shaved their heads, incidentally, before the Kentucky game last week. So Charles McDuff is not out of order there. 2nd down, 11. Jimmy Jordan trying to get it going for Florida State. LSU has assumed command of this game. Jordan is not fast. And he's finally dumped by John Adams, who was chasing him from behind. Number 94, Lyman White, was the first man to get in there and put the pressure on Jordan to force him out of the pocket. Lyman White.
Lyman White, number 94. Charlie Mack says just a great football player. Watch his effort to go around the offensive blocker and chase the quarterback out of the pocket. Finally, Adams, number 86, with a little more speed than White, is going to make the play.
That was Ken Lanier, the outstanding blocker on the Florida State offensive line, who White beat. So now with 3rd down and 11, Jackie Flowers to the bottom of the screen. And the pass is complete in the flat to Ricky Williams, but short of 1st down yardage. This program is being brought to you as an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Now let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
This is WECA-TV, Tallahassee.
We are in Tiger Stadium on the campus of LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where LSU leads 7th-ranked and unbeaten Florida State 13-7. Ron Stark is deep to punt for the Seminoles. The offense has stalled for them since midway through the 1st quarter. And Stark's best punt of the day is sailing deep where Marcus Quinn takes it inside the 30. They fake the reverse, but the Florida State Seminoles covered it excellently downfield. LSU is known for that reverse punt return, and the FSU defenders were ready for it. So with 5 minutes, 17 seconds to go before halftime, LSU still leads Florida State. We'll be back. Coming into this football game, the Florida State defense ranked among the nation's leaders against the rush, giving up only 102 yards per game. LSU already with 105 yards on the ground. David Woodley from the split back position, trying to hit Tracy Porter downfield, and that is a little wrinkle that Charlie McClendon throws in every once in a while, as Ensminger that time was able to pitch it out to Woodley. But FSU was ready for that one, too.
When Woodley stays in the ball game as wingback, the defense automatically looks for something tricky or pass, and Florida State was ready for it.
Now Woodley comes out, and Ensminger remains in the game at quarterback. It was Woodley who moved LSU during both of the Tiger touchdown drives. Carson in motion. Fake to Gajan, going deep, intended for number 21, Tracy Porter. And Bobby Butler, 21 for Florida State, was back to defend.
Tracy, let's watch the replay on Porter. Porter had 21 receptions last year, Jim, and 7 of them were for touchdowns. He's already had 1 touchdown. He's trying to outrun Butler, number 21. Just so happens that Butler's outstanding defensive back for Florida State. Good play on his part, incomplete pass.
Setbacks now, Hernandez 13 and Gajan 47. Carlos Carson is to the bottom of your screen. This is Gajan. Kurowski makes the tackle, a pickup of 7. It will now be 3rd down from just outside the 35-yard line. I'll repeat the point. Coming into this game, Bobby Bowden's Seminoles were among the nation's leaders against the rush. LSU already with 110 yards on the ground. That's more than the Seminoles' average yield of 103. John Adams will now punt it for LSU. Excuse me, Coach.
It's all right. That was a surprise, I'm sure, because they felt their defense could stop LSU.
Gary Henry will take this one at his 15. He's dangerous if he gets outside, but he doesn't. Good coverage downfield by Chris Williams, number 22. And the rest of the Bengal Tigers who are down there. And Florida State will start at the 20-yard line.
This is the Tiger Den, where the fans are participants. They're not just spectators, Jim. They actually fire the team up, help them get the momentum, and the fortunes go right along with momentum.
Flipping penalty against Florida State, and this will put the Seminoles even deeper in the hole as it will move it back to the 10-yard line. So after the 49-yard punt by Adams and the penalty against Florida State, the Seminoles start deep in their own territory when we come back. Florida State scored on their first possession of the football game. And since then, LSU has controlled this game on the ground. The Seminoles now starting from their 10-yard line, 4:24 left before halftime. That is Michael Whiting. And the Seminoles have not been able to get a ground attack going against LSU to balance the passing attack.
Jim, a little interesting statistic. Florida State has averaged 1 yard on first down. LSU 4.6 on third down. 2 out of 7 conversions for Florida State. 3 out of 6 for LSU. In this kind of football game, a tough game, when you lose one phase of your offense, running for instance, you're likely to lose your passing also.
Tough field position all day also for Florida State. Second down 8 now from the 12. Jordan wants to throw. Benji Thibodeau misses. Jordan underthrows. And it goes out of bounds. The intended receiver was the tight end number 85, Grady King. And James Britt was back to cover.
Change in strategy for LSU, Jim. Very interesting in that Charlie Mack thought he had to rush and played man-for-man in the secondary, and when he did, Florida State hurt him. There's a penalty against LSU, illegal use of the hands, Jim, first down.
That could be a big break for Florida State. Well, they can use one.
Yes, they need to get something to give them a little momentum. Illegal use of the hands, personal foul.
I mentioned field position before. As you see, referee signaling that penalty. That's James Harper Jr., the referee from Atlanta, Georgia. One reason for the difficulty in field position, John Adams of LSU has punted 3 times for a 45-yard average. Ron Stark of Florida State is averaging 38 yards on 4 kicks, but that's a little misleading. The first 2 weren't all that good. Williams with the football on first down. And Ricky Williams, who's had a bit of a rocky start in his freshman year at Florida State, gets 3 out to the, I'll call it the 30-yard line. It'll be second down from there.
LSU will likely double cover and force Florida State to go to their tight end or one of the backs.
Flowers out of the ball game. The wide receivers are Johnson to the top and Williams to the bottom. That's Johnson, and Jordan threw it behind it. Third down now. And Jimmy Jordan, who was sharp early, is starting to have a little trouble with his timing.
That's what you try to do on defense, Jim. You disrupt the timing of the receivers, put a little rush on the quarterback enough to where he's unsure of how long he'll have to pick out his receiver.
Jordan had 80 yards on the first 2 drives. He now has only 85 yards passing in the game. Big third down. Receiver fell down. That was Grady King, the tight end, and Marcus Quinn applied excellent coverage from his strong safety position. So another punting situation from Florida State, and this crowd is getting more and more fired up.
Let's watch Quinn, number 40, play expertly on pass defense, coming over the shoulder of King. Watch him right here, and knocks the ball loose. Excellent play on his part to prevent a first down.
There's Ron Stark. 4 kicks for a 38.9-yard average in the game. He had trouble early. Good snap. And Marcus Quinn calls for the fair catch as he falls forward at the LSU 40-yard line. So not a particularly deep kick, and again, great field position for the Bengal Tigers. Coming up at halftime, the Fireman's Fund flashback highlights of today's Houston-Arkansas game. A great game. If you missed it, be sure to stay tuned at halftime to see those highlights. Also, the ABC News halftime report and both bands here in colorful Tiger Stadium. Just outside the 39, Ensminger is now the quarterback. This is Gaijan, who's off to a great start in this game. And he has another 8 yards across the 45 to the 47. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Once again, Florida State had no force on the corner. The wide receiver, Porter, had blocked the cornerback, Hunter. No support, good running room, but a penalty against LSU.
Another break for Florida State, and as we said before, they can use them at this point. LSU is controlling the football game.
This year is the first year that the clock starts on a penalty when the referee declares ready. Up until this year, the clock started on the snap, and that's a big factor working against Florida State right now.
Now it will be first down and 23 yards to go for the first down. On the line here today, a 10-game Florida State winning streak over a 2-season period, one of the longest in college football. Ensminger, Gaijan. one sort misses. And Keith Jones made the saving tackle. 28-yard pickup for Gaijan.
Just an outstanding run. Very simple play. You turn and pitch the ball, student body to the right, but watch what Gaijan does. He cuts back inside of pursuit. Pirowski misses the tackle at the line of scrimmage. Finally, he's knocked down by Hunter.
You see the statistics on the day for Hokie Gaijan. 12 carries, 88 yards. Leroy Jones on first down, and this is a big play from Scott McLean, sophomore defensive end, number 60 from Claremont, Florida. Before the game, Charlie McClendon's big objective in setting up the LSU offense was to try to influence the great Florida State nose guard, number 50, Ron Simmons. They've done an effective job. He has been quiet.
A little counter motion, which has kept Simmons at home and taken him right out of pursuit.
Second down 10. Fumble. Ball was loose, and it is Seminole football. Number 14 was Jesse Miles, a freshman tailback in the ball game for his first carry. He could not get the handle on Insminger's handoff, and with a minute and a half left in the half, Florida State finally has the ball in decent field position.
Let's see if we can detect what happens. Well, he just dropped it. I believe that Miles had his hand up, and Insminger could not put the ball in the pocket. You have to get your left elbow up high where the quarterback has a pocket.
Second turnover of the game for LSU. We were unable on that replay to see who it was who made the recovery for Florida State, but it was number 67, Mark Motzek, who got there first to stop Miles. Fake.
He's behind him.
Jackie Flowers. Check it. Hardis Johnson. Freshman wide receiver Hardis Johnson. Flag is down.
It could be offsetting fouls. That's the only chance, because LSU was definitely offside.
It is a touchdown. 53-yard touchdown pass. Jimmy Jordan to Hardis Johnson, and just like that, Florida State is back in it.
Let's watch number 22. Johnson go right down the boundary, break over the middle, and as Bobby Bowden said, he felt like he could get behind LSU defenders because they don't think deep. They're thinking to stop the short passes, watching concentration, and then he just shows them his heels and in for the go-ahead. It's a tying touchdown.
A 172-pound freshman from Tampa, and that touchdown ties it at 13. Now Davey Capellan can untie it, and he does. So with 1 minute, 22 seconds remaining before the half, Florida State goes back on top, 14-13. If you look at Charlie McClendon, you know,
Jim, the fans can realize that when Florida State goes deep, if you don't back up with them as a defensive back, if you just kind of level off, they're going to run right by you. They've got blazing speed, and they've been behind them, what, 3 times already in the ball game.
And I know what Charlie McClendon is over there thinking. He's thinking how mistakes will kill you in a football game. Twice in the half, LSU has fumbled. Both times Florida State recovered. Both times the Seminoles capitalized for touchdowns.
You can just watch the tremendous release and power in the arm of Jordan, the concentration of Johnson. He's behind the secondary, something with a minute to go you wouldn't think would happen against an experienced secondary as LSU has, called the Soul Patrol.
The 53-yard touchdown pass now stretches Jimmy Jordan for the day to 6 out of 15 for 138 yards. Capice will kick it off as you look at Chris Williams deep at the goal line for LSU. Short kick. And the man who called for a fair catch was Lionel Wallace, the junior reserve split in from Houma, Louisiana. So it will be LSU football at the 32-yard line. And we can expect, I think, to see Insminger. Yes, it is Insminger at quarterback. Minute 21 to go, as you see in the first half. And Florida State, outplayed and pushed all over the field by LSU throughout most of this first half, has gone back on top. Gaijan. That was Ron Simmons who got through there to stop him before he ever got started.
Simmons shot the gap to the right of the offensive center. There's Johnson, the freshman receiver. Is he happy?
Well, before the season, the Seminoles lost Kurt Unglaub, considered perhaps their outstanding receiver, not before the season. They lost him in the first game. He'll get another year of eligibility. So Johnson has gotten to come on and play. 2nd down 9. Breaking a tackle. That is swallowed. Football is loose. And again, FSU has it. Keith Jones is there, and so is Ivory Joe Hunter. And it is Ivory Joe Hunter, the senior cornerback from Tallahassee, who made the recovery.
Swallow, of course, he makes a good run, but you have to protect the football in an open field. Both hands. Actually, that's good effort on his part, but when he cuts back, let's see where he has the ball. One hand, going in the crowd, you cover it up. The one thing you don't want to do to Florida State is give them the ball again. With the momentum, I would guess LSU will line up about 25 yards deep on any of the passes right now.
And talk about effort. The man who missed the tackle in the flat was Keith Jones, and he was also there to help Hunter with the recovery. Deep again. King, the tight end, and this time, amid 3 defenders, King is unable to hold on to it. Robert DeRudy, sophomore free safety man, number 39 from Fort Neches, Texas, was found there defending.
Here's the end of the play. You can see that the LSU backs, DeRudy had the advantage on the receiver and could have possibly made the interception. It was a good play on his part. Safety men are very deep right now.
Time for perhaps 2 or 3 more plays in the first half. 2nd down 10. Flowers to the top of the screen. And he wants Flowers. And Flowers, working against James Britt, was not open.
Look at the difference in turnovers. 3 for LSU, 0 for Florida State, and that has been the difference so far.
It's the reason that the Seminoles are on top in the ball game. In a way, it's the reason they're even in the ball game.
That's correct.
3rd down 10 now. Jimmy Jordan trying to capitalize on the latest of the 3 fumble recoveries. Jackie Flowers, number 23, to the top of the screen. Hardis Johnson to the bottom. This time it's Johnson. 1st down. And he's inside the 35 to the 33-yard line before Britt and Chris Williams finally bring him down.
Let's watch Johnson go across the middle and see the concentration the young freshman has to sidestep the defensive back. Ball's right on target, good concentration, excellent speed, came close to scoring right here.
21-yard pickup. Timeout has been called by the Seminoles of Florida State. I'll tell you, Jimmy Jordan is not throwing for a high percentage. He is 7 of 18, but he's making them count. 159 yards in the air.
Brigham Young continues to roll.
Mark Wilson, one of the outstanding quarterbacks in the country. San Diego State on top of Utah.
I think Brigham Young one game this year threw 52 passes.
Colorado State leading Air Force. Later today, Washington's Huskies down at Terry Donahue's UCLA team. And Rich Brooks continuing to do a heck of a job at Oregon as they lead Washington State 10-7. I don't know if you saw the score earlier, but Missouri is struggling today. It has been a tough year for Warren Powers. Now FSU has elected to go for the field goal with 5 seconds on the clock. Bill Capice, a junior from Miami who kicks off for the Seminoles and who has more range than the normal place kicker Davey Capellan, is on to attempt the field goal. Rick Stockstill, the 3rd-team quarterback, number 11, will hold. Capice will be kicking from the 41-yard line, so it will be a 51-yard field goal attempt as the Seminoles try to go out leading 17-13. Sidewinder kick is up. It's going to be short. And so the first half has come to a close. And Florida State, on the strength of a 53-yard bomb from Jordan to Hardis Johnson, has gone back on top. They lead LSU 14-13. We'll be back right after this. There you see the halftime score from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Florida State 7th ranked and unbeaten on top of LSU 14-13. First quarter, the Seminoles scored on a 3-yard touchdown pass. Jordan to Sam Platt after an FSU fumble recovery, 7-0. Second quarter, LSU controlling the game on the ground. Koki Gaijan, a 1-yard touchdown run tied at 7-7. Then David Woodley, the quarterback, from 2 yards out. Extra point no good. LSU led at 13-7. It stayed that way till the final minutes of the first half. Another fumble recovery by Florida State. The play immediately following the recovery, a 53-yard touchdown pass from Jimmy Jordan to Hardis Johnson. The extra point kick by Capellan. Florida State leads it at halftime 14-13. Earlier, you saw the remarkable partial score. South Carolina beating Notre Dame in South Bend 17-3. Well, Notre Dame came back to get them. The Irish winning the game 18-17, but a heck of an effort by the Gamecocks of South Carolina, who had not lost since an opening day loss to North Carolina coming into this game against Notre Dame. Fireman's Fun flashback coming up. Highlights of today's Houston-Arkansas battle in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which was a terrific football game. Today's Fireman's Fund flashback is brought to you by Fireman's Fund Insurance. And Fireman's Fund Insurance is brought to you by an independent agent near you. Now let's go to our studios in New York, where Chris Schenkel will narrate for us highlights of the Arkansas-Houston game. We are back at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. One of the really hallowed settings for college football in this entire country. On the field, the Florida State University Seminole Band, Seminole Marching Band, which has made the long trek across to Baton Rouge, across the Gulf area from Tallahassee. And as they entertain the more than 70,000 people here in Tiger Stadium, we look on. Florida State University Band under the direction of Bentley Shellahammer. And featuring the Marching Chiefs. From the top 10, final, Alabama still unbeaten. They beat Virginia Tech today in Tuscaloosa 31-7. Bear Bryant's 200th victory. Nebraska over Colorado 38-10. Southern Cal and California tied up at 7-7 in the third quarter. California's passing attack apparently giving the Trojans a little trouble. Houston beat Arkansas 13-10, as you saw earlier here on ABC. Ohio State continues to roll. They pounded Michigan State, and Texas finally started to put some touchdowns on the board with a 30-6 victory. Oklahoma leading Ohio State 38-9, or Iowa State, I should say, 38-9. Now word from the NCAA. We're back in Tiger Stadium, and you see a walking replica of a tiger. There's a real one here also, and we'll see him a little later on. Right now, let's go to our studios in New York for our ABC News halftime report with Barry Serafin. Well, we apparently have a switching problem, but in a minute we will be going to Barry Serafin for our ABC News halftime report. Meanwhile, the LSU Marching Tiger Band coming onto the field. And you look at our halftime score. The 7th ranked and unbeaten Florida State Seminoles leading 17th ranked LSU 14-13. And the Marching Tiger Band begins to come onto the field. So we'll be back for more halftime in the second half of this game. But now to New York for our ABC News halftime report with Barry Serafin. We're back at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm Jim Lampley along with Coach Frank Broyles. You see our halftime score. Florida State leading LSU 14-13. Right now on the field, the Louisiana State University Tiger Marching Band. The Tigerettes, the Golden Girls, the Flag Corps, all 275 members. under the direction of Dr. Nicholas Rouse. This, of course, the theme from Superman. As you look at scores from the East Coast. Yale and Cornell continue unbeaten in the Ivy League. They play next week at Ithaca. The campus on the Bayou, LSU in Baton Rouge. Let's take a look around right now. The famous Pumpkin Tiger art concept. One correction, I said Cornell was still beaten in the Ivy League. They aren't, but they'll have a chance to draw abreast of Yale if they can beat them. The Florida State LSU game is being brought to you by Texaco, with over 66,000 employees doing their best at their jobs to keep your trust. By the smokeless tobacco, Skoal, Copenhagen, and Happy Days, enjoyed by millions of guys for tobacco pleasure without smoking. And by Ultrex from Schick Super 2, the only twin blades with one push cleaning. For a clean start on really close shaves, fits Track 2 and Atra razors. Ultrex from Schick Super 2. Halftime drawing to a close right now, and we'll be back for the second half kickoff. Florida State leading 14-13. Back in as we are ready to begin the second half. 7th ranked and unbeaten Florida State leading in the football game largely because of big plays. Halftime statistics coach, LSU controlled the game on the ground.
It was a stunned and disappointed LSU team that went into the halftime dressing room, and the figures tell why. LSU had 139-yard rushing, led in total offense 193 to 181, but what pops out at you is the turnover, the number of turnovers, 3-0. That was the difference.
Chris Williams, check that. That is not Chris Williams. That is Hardis Johnson. Hardis Johnson, freshman receiver who caught a 53-yard touchdown pass in the first half, is deep for Florida State. And Don Bartell will kick it off for LSU. Johnson goes all the way past the left hash mark to get it. He wants to come back to the right. He is dragged down. Great play. And the man who got him is number 84, Greg Stevens, a freshman defensive end. As you look at the LSU defensive line, they'll be working against Florida State. Lyman White, the big play man. Benji Thibodeau, McClendon calls him his best pass rusher. George Attia, one of the top nose guards in the country. Ivan Phillips, the right tackle, and the right defensive end, also the punter, and an all-Southeastern Conference player, is John Adams. Florida State on the warpath, but in bad field position as they start from their own 5-yard line. If you joined us late, Jimmy Jordan has gone all the way at quarterback in Florida State's dual quarterbacking system. On first down, Mark Lyles has a couple out to the 7. Linebackers for LSU, Tommy Frizzell is one. We remind you, 15 LSU players shaved their heads before last week's game. Jerry Hill, the other linebacker. James Britt, coming back from a broken hand to play today at cornerback. Chris Williams, who had a 43-yard punt return in the first half. Marcus Quinn, one of an excellent pair of safety men. The other is Willie Teal, the free safety. On second down, 8 yards to go from the 7-yard line. Jackie Flowers and Phil Williams are the wide receivers. Jordan Gibbs to the man off the tail, and that is Michael White. The sophomore tailback from Largo, Florida, gets some breathing room across the 10 to the 13. We take another look at Hardis Johnson's kickoff return.
The fans are booing the referee's call. They think it should have been a fumble. Let's see if we can detect whether it's a good call or not. Here's Johnson going across. He lands. The ball is declared dead once he hits the ground, and if it bounces out, it's a dead ball and not a fumble. A good call.
He had just hit. Third down now, 3 yards to go. Jackie Flowers is to the top of your screen. The give is to Lyles, and Lyles is met right at the line of scrimmage. Credit the right side of the defensive line. George Attia, the nose guard. Ivan Phillips, the tackle. They were there to stop Lyles before he could really get going, and on fourth down, Ron Stark will come on to punt from around the area of his goal line. You look at Chris Williams on the left, Marcus Quinn on the right. Williams is the dangerous man for Florida State.
They could crisscross and set up a good punt return.
Ron Stark began to punt well toward the end of the first half, and he hits a beauty here. High. Williams will take it at his 40. He's hemmed in. Giving ground. Now he finds a little running room across the 40 to the 42. A 53-yard punt for Ron Stark. It could not have come at a better time for FSU. Here's the defensive line for the Seminoles. Scott Warren, pre-med student at left end. Mark Motzek, the left tackle. They will alternate 4 tackles. Ron Simmons is the nose guard. The other starting tackle, Jeremy Mendlin. You'll also see Walter Carter at that right tackle slot, and he's played very well. Arthur Scott is the rushing end, the right defensive end. Gaijan on first down for LSU has a couple before Motzek makes the stop for FSU. Call it second down 7. Gaijan in the first half had 13 carries for 85, so make it 14 for 88 now for Hokie. Linebackers in secondary for Florida State. Reggie Herring is one linebacker. He's played well. Paul Purowski, an ex-quarterback, is the other linebacker. In the secondary, Bobby Butler, one cornerback. And we'll look at the rest of them in a minute. On second down 7. Gaijan has about 4. LSU coming out with the same offensive look as they carried throughout most of the first half. Gaijan from his tailback position. The rest of the Florida State secondary shows Ivory Joe Hunter, number 46, at one corner. And the safety men are Monk Bonasort, a junior, former walk-on from Pittsburgh, who has 5 interceptions on the year, and Keith Jones, a very, very contact-oriented and physical, strong safety. Tracy Porter is the split back. Orlando McDaniel also in the ball game as Ensman rolls on third down and overthrows Orlando McDaniel. So they went with the pass on third down, and it did not pay off as Florida State had pressure on Ensman.
LSU was in the triple wing, then put motion back, and you'll watch Purowski 53 and Simmons 50 force him out of the pocket. First Purowski, the linebacker. Give him credit for the incomplete pass, forcing the bad throw.
The punter is John Adams. He has punted very well in this ball game. And Gary Henry calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 14-yard line. So Florida State continues to operate at disadvantageous field position after the 36-yard punt by Adams. With the Seminoles leading 14-13, we'll be back. You see jam-packed Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, and Florida State once again begins a drive in poor field position. Second possession of the second half for the Seminoles. This is Whiting in the flat. Breaks one tackle and gets across the 25 to the 26 before Willie Teal made the stop for LSU. Jordan to Whiting, the completion of first down for FSU.
Jim, that's the first series in recent times that they have thrown on first down. They have tried to run on first down. LSU is in a running defense. No gain. They go to the passing down. LSU double cover. They caught them in single coverage on that time. Good completion.
The universal message of college students: send money. First and 10 from the 26. Whiting. Florida State has not been able to move the football on the ground against LSU's defensive line.
LSU defensive line is quick. They play against the run in spring training, and then when they're practicing, and they get effective against the run. Florida State, of course, is a dominantly passing team, and their linemen step back, Jim, and it's hard to fire out on a run and step back on a pass effectively in a good college football team.
Second down 8. Jimmy Jordan. Curtis Johnson to the top of your screen. Jackie Flowers to the bottom. Johnson, big catch. Across the 45 to the 48-yard line. First down, 19-yard pickup, Jordan to Johnson, and since they've only got 38 yards on the ground, they're going to have to keep moving the ball this way.
You can see Jordan hit Johnson coming across the middle between the linebackers where he put stuff on the ball right there. Good catch by Johnson, concentrating, turning back to around 360 degrees, but controlling the ball.
Chris Williams had him covered, but there is no defense for the perfectly thrown pass and a great catch like that. Flowers to the top of the screen. Bill Williams to the bottom. Whiting again is dumped behind the line of scrimmage. First man there was number 94, Lyman White, the defensive end. Tommy Frizzell put the finishing touches on from his linebacker position.
Watch White, 94, excellent football player, gets rocked to the ground by the fullback, but gets up and gets involvement in the play along with Britt, number 11.
Well, I had it reversed. It was Frizzell who got there first, and then White, along with number 11, James Britt. So give the real credit to Tommy Frizzell, the senior from Athens, Texas. Second down, 10. Fake the draw. Whiting, a check it, Johnson, and it's over his hands this time. As this time, Johnson was running the deep crossing pattern from the right side of the field.
Let's watch Johnson break across the middle, and I think we'll see the linebackers in the line of the pass to where Jordan has to go high with it. The ball is high. He cannot control it. Throwing over the linebacker for Sells' head, incomplete.
Jimmy Jordan on the game, 9 of 21 for 189 yards. A calculated gamble by Bobby Bowden. He had started Wally Woodham throughout a 10-game winning streak over a 2-year period. Today, he came out with Jimmy Jordan at the helm. Third down. Lyles with the football, dumped short of the first down. Number 90, Dimitri Williams, was there. And so was Albert Richardson. And for Bobby Bowden, it's back to the punt.
And LSU will have very poor field position. Florida State kicking from the midfield.
Chris Williams on the left, Marcus Quinn on the right. Ron Stark, 6 punts so far on the day, an average of 39.7 yards. He has improved steadily with each kick. Another good one. Quinn calls the fair catch, then lets it go. They have a chance to down it deep, and they do. Number 26, falling on the football down there, was Wade Wallace. He did so at the 7-yard line, and that is where LSU will start the offense when we come back. Crowd coming to life. 8 minutes, 35 seconds to go in the third quarter. We have seen both LSU quarterbacks on the day. This time it is Ensminger. And the senior from Baton Rouge gives to Hokie Gajan, who has been the workhorse for LSU all day. Mississippi pounding Vanderbilt, and a happy day, one of the rare ones this season for Steve Sloan.
He's had a tough year, his second win for the season.
There is a Southern miss right there.
How about Wake Forest?
One of the incredible stories in college football. The Deacons under new coach John Mackovic. In only the second year there, Mackovic has turned that football program completely around. Now on second down, LSU with Gajan again with the football. And he cannot move against Ron Simmons, and this will bring up third down for LSU.
Let's watch Simmons, just how strong and effective he can be. Stays up and watches the ball carrier, refuses to be blocked, stops Gajan for no gain.
This drive began after a 47-yard punt by Stark. And Florida State may finally have turned the field position tide. They've had trouble all day. Third down, 8. Gajan is dumped again. Number 39 shooting the gap was Reggie Herring, the junior linebacker from Titusville, Florida. And now it is LSU, which must punt the football from very deep in its own territory. The man going into the end zone to kick it will be John Adams. Adams on the day, 4 kicks, 42.7 yards per kick. Deep to receive, Gary Henry. We'll see whether the Seminoles want to block or return. It looks as though they have chosen to try to return it. They have. Adams is able to kick it away from Henry, however, and it gets a good LSU roll across the 50. So the Seminoles will start the offense from the 49 after the 41-yard punt by John Adams. It will still be Jimmy Jordan at quarterback. Maryland beating Duke today. Terrapins have had some rough sledding in the previous 4 weeks. NC State beating Clemson at Clemson, and that is a big win for the Wolfpack. A big tie for Pat Dye and East Carolina as they tied North Carolina at Chapel Hill 24-24. Tar Heels were 15th ranked. On first down, Lyles breaks through for one of the most effective running plays of the day for Florida State. Willie Teal made the tackle, but not before Lyles picked up 8. It will be second down 2. All the scores coming up, time permitting, after this football game ends. on the college football scoreboard, and you look again at that remarkable score from South Bend. Notre Dame coming from behind to beat South Carolina 18-17. That 8-yard pickup for Lyles was the longest run of the day for the Seminoles. And you see why. As number 77, Benji Thibodeau, is there to stop Lyles, along with 86, John Adams, along with 49, Jerry Hill. The LSU defense against the rush has been superb.
LSU playing against the Florida State team, a 5-2 defense, penetrating and slanting Thibodeau, the tackle, and also nose guard Artia, trying to get in the backfield.
Florida State was hot on third down conversions early in the ball game. Now they are only 3 for 12 as they face third down a long 2 yards. Whiting nowhere. Thibodeau was there. So was 68, Ivan Phillips, the other defensive tackle. So was Artia, the nose guard.
About a foot or two short, Jim.
And he's going to punt. Phillips is having trouble getting up.
You can see LSU penetrate in through the gaps on short yardage to try to stop the ball carrier for no gain, and they were successful. Still fourth down in the yard.
So Ron Stark, who hit his last punt beautifully to nail LSU inside the 10, will kick again, this time from the 43-yard line of the Tigers. That's where the ball will be snapped. Williams and Quinn are standing at the 10. Almost a high snap. Stark going for the far corner. And he has put them in the coffin once again. A host of Seminoles were downfield to down it. Number 79 was there. That was Gary Fooch. 64, Jarvis Coursey was also there. You look at Ivan Phillips as they work on him on the sidelines. Things are getting hot in Baton Rouge, and will be always an interesting show next Friday night. We are back at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where 7th-ranked and unbeaten Florida State Seminoles have LSU's Tigers pinned deep in their territory. 5:08 left to go in the third quarter. Florida State leading it 14-13. On first down, Hokie Gaijan took the handoff from David Woodley, number 8, now back in the game at quarterback, and Gaijan picked up about 3. You look at the back of George Atia's head, the big middle guard from Allentown, Pennsylvania, one of 15 LSU players who shaved their heads last week before the Kentucky game. But, you know, a skinhead, a plain dome wasn't enough for George. He wanted something a little different, and that's what you got. Hello, George. Ivan Phillips, defensive tackle for LSU, had cramps in his leg. We should see him back in the ballgame. Woodley on second down. Gets away from one man, but not enough. He's still short of the 10-yard line. Arthur Scott, the senior defensive end from Tampa, was the first man who got to Woodley.
It's an option play, and the defensive end, Scott, number 54, makes an outstanding play. He's blocked momentarily. You'll see him come from the left corner of your screen in and slows Woodley down enough for pursuit to get to him for no gain.
Third down 5. In this quarter, perhaps because of field position, the Florida State defense has stiffened against the Tiger running game. Do they go to the air at their own 10? It would be a gamble. They do not. Gaijan, blockers in front. He does not have the first down. This telecast is being brought to you as an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Now let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
This is WECA-TV, Tallahassee.
Adams goes deep in his end zone to punt it. Gary Henry back to return for Florida State. Last time the Seminoles tried to set up a return, and Adams kicked it away from Henry. This time they do the same thing, and Henry will have a chance to run this one back. Gets one block, but runs into the blocker. Number 42 back there for Florida State trying to make the block for Gary Henry was Francis Bonasort, and there you see number 64 who made the play, Mike Turner, a sophomore reserve offensive guard. He gets the big tackle and helps LSU out a little bit with field position. After the 41-yard kick by Adams, Florida State will start from their 46. It is still Jimmy Jordan at quarterback. We have not seen Wally Woodham, who normally starts for the Seminoles, at all today. Play fake.
He's behind him.
Hardis Johnson. Drop the ball. Intercepted. The ball did not hit the ground. Willie Teal with the football. And the senior free safety man from Texarkana, Texas, comes up with a very, very big LSU defensive play. You saw Hardis Johnson get behind the cornerback. You saw the football hit him in the hands. When it popped up in the air, it never came down to the ground, and Willie Teal grabbed it for the interception.
This is the one time that Jordan's ball is outrun by the receiver and the defensive back, because Johnson's in behind Williams. He has the ball momentarily, then his knee kicks it up in the air. Watch the play by Teal. He comes down, he realizes, and he returns it all the way back to the 45.
On first down, Hokie Gaijan has 4. Scott Warren jamming the play up at defensive end, but this is a big turnaround. After playing with poor field position for much of the game, Florida State had managed to turn the tide and pin the Tigers back inside their 10 on 2 consecutive possessions. There they tried to capitalize, and the interception has turned it around.
Turnovers terrify a coach because they give up field position. It breaks down your morale and fires up your opponent. That's what's happened here.
3 wide receivers in the lineup: Carlos Carson, Orlando McDaniel, and Tracy Porter. Woodley throws in the flat. Tracy Porter has it. And as Bobby Butler makes the tackle, Porter is down to the 39-yard line of FSU.
Excellent timing on that particular pass. Porter was there to the defense as if he was going deep. Butler gave him a cushion, and Porter turned, and the ball was right on target.
10th first down of the ball game for LSU. They lead in that category 10-8. LaFleur, the tight end, back in now on first down. Woodley gets to Gaijan. And number 53 is Paul Pirowski, who held his ground. He has played a very good game at linebacker for Florida State.
And also give credit to Carter, the defensive tackle, Jim. He penetrated, forced Gaijan to break inside where the linebackers could make the play.
Charlie McClendon in his 18th year as the head coach here at LSU. He's been under pressure the last few years. And this is the final year for a man who has emerged throughout his career to be one of the top coaches in the Southeastern Conference. Second down 9. Woodley wants to throw. Carson had a chance. Gary Henry, the defensive back, fell down, but as he fell down, his ankle hooked Carlos Carson's ankle, and Carson went down too.
Let's watch and see exactly why the fans are booing. Carson, number 3, goes outside the cornerback. Butler is going deep. Henry, number 40, is coming in the picture. They get tangled up. Let's see if you would call interference. Here's Carson. Actually, Henry falls down and trips Carson, and the ball could have been completed except for the accidental trip.
Very negligible contact between their feet. There was a penalty flag down on the play. It appears illegal motion against LSU, declined by Florida State. Now that will bring up 3rd and 9, a possession down for the Tigers. Let's see how they have done on 3rd downs through the ball game. They are 4 for 10 in the 3rd down conversion category. Most of those, however, have been short yardage 3rd downs on the ground. Porter, Carson, and McDaniel, 21, 3, and 32, all in the ball game. Woodley wants Carson. Check it. He was trying to hit Tracy Porter, but he had to throw too quickly because the Florida State rush was there.
Jim, that was a blitz, a safety blitz, a big rush. Woodley had no time to choose his receiver. The man-to-man coverage was effective. A good call, good strategy on Bowden's part.
You saved the safety blitz for certain spots. That time, Bobby Bowden picked the right one.
Excellent play on all of the Florida State defensive people.
Adams again to punt. Now he is trying to pin Florida State back in poor field position again. Looking for the right corner. But it bounces into the end zone. So the Seminoles will start the offense from the 20-yard line. We have 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter of what has been a very eventful football game. As you look at scores from other games around the country, very quickly we will recap the scoring in this game. In the first quarter, Florida State went out on top after a 3-yard touchdown pass, Jimmy Jordan to Sam Flatt. Then LSU took over control of the football game on the ground. After a 43-yard punt return by Chris Williams, Hokie Gaijan scored from 1 yard out. That made it 7-7. Then a touchdown by David Woodley put LSU on top 13-7. Florida State came back after an LSU fumble. A 53-yard second quarter touchdown pass. Jordan to Hardis Johnson put the Seminoles on top 14-13. A flag is down as on first down from the 20. Mike Whiting gets 5 yards. Benji Thibodeau made the tackle.
Jim, Florida State's 2 touchdowns were set up by mistakes on LSU's part. I know they're disappointed, but LSU's disappointed. They're getting a little bit of momentum. They have field position. They can hold them right here. They've got a chance to get back in this ball game.
Holding call against Florida State. That moves the football back to the 15-yard line. There you see the Missouri score. It has been a rough year in Columbia for Warren Powers and his crew, and they expected much better.
Jim Dickey, though, at Kansas State, give him much credit for taking the team that wasn't expected to do much and done quite well.
First down now, 18 yards to go. Lyles breaks through. Longest running play of the day for the Seminoles as Lyles gets it back out across the 26, and from there it will be second down 4. Chris Williams made the stop.
When you're a passing football team, your best play normally is a trap or a draw, and that's about all that Florida State has had any success on that particular first down. They caught LSU charging across. They trapped them. Big hole for Lyles.
Hurry up! You see Hardis Johnson coming into the huddle with the play from Coach Bobby Bowden. Second down, 4 yards to go. Johnson is to the top of the screen, and Jackie Flowers is to the bottom. And now Jimmy Jordan pulls out from under center as the third quarter comes to an end. So we'll be back for the fourth quarter in Baton Rouge with Florida State leading 14. A visiting college football team in the entire sport. Coming into this game, Bobby Bowden privately promised that with Jimmy Jordan at quarterback, he would come out ripping. As we enter the fourth quarter, Jordan in the air is 10 for 23, but for 191 yards. He has hit some bombs, enough to have the Seminoles on top 14-13. On second down 4 from the 26-yard line, Mark Lyles with the football gets it close to the 30. And now it will be third down and a short 2 yards to go for the first down. You look at statistics in the ball game so far.
Florida State has jumped ahead in total yardage, 252 to 223. Still, what pops out at you is LSU. 3 turnovers, Florida State 1. First downs, LSU leading 10-8. Just what we expected in productivity of the running and passing for each team.
Another NCAA doubleheader next week starting at 12:30. Check your local listings for the games and the time in your area. Jimmy Jordan throwing on third and short. And Jackie Flowers has the football at the 35-yard line of LSU. Another big play for the Seminoles as the bomb once again works. This time Flowers from Jordan, 37 yards.
LSU is going to rush, blitz there, and man for man. Britt, number 11, is covering Flowers. Let's watch the match right here on the left of your screen. 23 Flowers. Watch his concentration. He outruns the ball. He has to slow up, but Britt, trying to catch up, could not get involved in the play.
And the pass was right on the money. So now make Jordan 11 of 24 and give Florida State an opportunity at the LSU 35-yard line. He wants Hardis Johnson. Just missed.
Johnson is just a freshman. He's in behind Britt again. Once again, Bobby Bowden, Jim, I've heard him lecture. I've read his book. He says this: if your secondary doesn't think deep when my receivers charge off that line, we're going to go deep.
Look at the man.
Let's watch it again. From the end zone, you can see the individual competition between Britt, number 11, and Johnson, a freshman, is in behind, but he can't control it.
That was close. Second down 10 from the 35. Down the middle. The tight end off the hands of Phil Williams. Not the tight end, the wide receiver.
Williams, number 87, wide receiver, is going to break across the middle. The the quarterback wants to throw the ball between the linebackers. He throws it a little bit high, and of course, Williams takes a good blow right in the back by Quinn, number 40.
Meanwhile, flag was down, and the mark-off will be for 5 yards against FSU. Illegal motion against the Seminoles. I don't know if you saw the man Another LSU rooter. I don't know if you saw the man standing behind Bobby Bowden in our shot of Bowden just a couple of sequences ago. The man with the hat on was Wally Woodham, who has been the starting quarterback through every game of a 10-game winning streak for the Seminoles. He has not played at all today. Jordan, Flowers, touchdown.
Jim, you just have to give credit to the receivers for Florida State in that they run their pass routes as well as any football team I have seen. Williams, number 22, was covering man for man again. And when you cover man for man, you have to protect the inside.
Watch Williams get a hand on the football.
And then the concentration of Flowers right here. You'll see that Williams, number 22, is whipped on the play. He deflects, but watch the concentration right there by Flowers, an excellent receiver. Takes it on into the end zone for the touchdown.
The kick is up by Capellan and good. So Florida State now leads 21-13 with 13:51 to go. Want to know how Jimmy Jordan knows he just threw a touchdown pass? Somebody told him. That's how. Watch George Atiyah.
George Atiyah is making a great effort, trying to get back and force Jordan to throw a little bit sooner and maybe have an incomplete pass. Jordan is very, very tough-minded young man.
Bill Capice kicks it off for Florida State. Chris Williams will down it in the end zone. So while Jackie Flowers was scoring a touchdown for Florida State, Jimmy Jordan, who threw the touchdown pass, had a close-up look at several blades of grass. And there's Jackie Flowers on the sidelines. This coming Monday night on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks against the Atlanta Falcons, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Jimmy Zorn and Steve Largent against the Bartkowski-led Falcons, who made it to the playoffs last year. LSU under the gun. They trail 21-13 at their own 20. 13:51 left in the football game. Woodley at quarterback. Great play on the corner by Ivory Joe Hunter.
Ivory Joe Hunter wasn't fooled with the quarterback running out. He read run all the way. There you can see the Florida State coaches trying to get their blocking straightened out against the pass rush. The blitz, there it
They're
is.
talking about the safety blitz.
Right there, safety blitz and middle linebacker blitz. The end being the middle linebacker, the nose guard stunning.
Second down 10 for LSU. Carson and Tracy Porter both to the top of your screen. Tigers need to get something going. They have not moved the football much in the second half. Pump fake. Carson. Across the 45 of Florida State and down to the 44-yard line, a 37-yard completion.
Let's watch it from the end zone. You'll see Henry, number 40, is going to intercept the pass and slips down. Let's see if you can detect this. 40 is going to intercept the pass, but the ball is right on target, and Carson makes the reception. A big gain for LSU.
And Bonasort leveled Carson. So after the 40-yard touchdown pass from Jordan to Flowers, LSU is trying to come right back. Carlos Carson's third catch on that last play, and now Woodley turns it up inside and has only about a yard, and Ron Simmons is beginning to make his awesome presence felt.
Simmons is the one that Charlie McClendon told me he was really concerned about. They had to keep him at home, double team him. Bobby Bowden told me in the spring that he disrupts their offense entirely, Jim, that they can't run anything when he's on the defensive field. He's an outstanding football player. By the way, he's won 3 consecutive Chevrolet Defensive Player of the Game awards.
This time Carson is to the top of the screen and Tracy Porter is to the bottom. Second down 10. He throws it right to Bonasort. 6th interception of the year for Bonasort, and he picks his way back across midfield to the 47-yard line before David Woodley himself made the stop for LSU. 25-yard return of the interception by Monk Bonasort, who's one of the nation's leaders in this department.
It's a mistake to overlead a man crossing the middle. You keep the ball low. LaFau, the tight end, was the target, but Bonasort intercepted the pass and makes a nice run returning.
He was trying to go to number 89, LaFleur, the tight end, but LSU doesn't have the same kind of passing game as Florida State. They don't practice it as much. It isn't as big a part of their offense. And you expect mistakes when you have to go up to the air. First down from the 48, Lyles with the football. The last time the Seminoles had it, they went 80 yards in 7 plays and took 2 minutes to do it. The big plays, 2 long completions, Jordan to Flowers. Scores from the top 10. Alabama won, so did Nebraska. Southern Cal and California still tied up in the 3rd quarter. Houston beat Arkansas earlier. You saw it on ABC. The Razorbacks had a last-second chance to tie, but Ish Ordonez's 51-yard field goal was no good. First time Ordonez had missed in 17 kicks. Second down, 5 to go now for the Seminoles at the 43-yard line of LSU. And there is Monk Bonasort from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a former walk-on who is an outstanding free safety for the Seminoles. Whiting is going to be dumped. Jerry Hill was there, so was Lyman White.
And here's Bonasart, number 42, who made the interception. The walk-on, as Jim has mentioned before. Florida State is keeping the ball on the ground, Jim, trying to run out the clock, take as much of the minutes off the clock as they possibly can. LSU needing 2 scores to come back to win, 1 and going for 2 to tie.
Bobby Bowden, by his own admission, is a conservative coach when he has a lead. As Atia jumps offside for LSU.
Jim, that's a smart play. 3rd down and 5. They staggered their snap count. They've been going on a quick count. They went to a long count. LSU defense jumped off sides. First down.
So a big first down for the Seminoles keeps this possession alive. I was just going to say, Coach, the conservatism that Bowden espouses once he has a lead, he says is a big factor in his team's somewhat reduced offensive statistics from a year ago. Maybe a little too early here to go into a shell then. And they're not going completely in it because Jordan wants Jackie Flowers and almost had it. Good coverage downfield, though. Williams was there, Britt was there, and so was Willie T.
Willie Flowers got his hands on the football. Hit him right on the hands, but he couldn't control it because of the defensive players of LSU.
Now, you've talked about concentration all day. Johnson, the freshman will learn it. There's Johnson coming in with a play from Bobby Bowden. Jackie Flowers has it right now.
He certainly does. On the receptions he's had today, you can watch him and see that his eyes watch the ball all the way into his hands until he puts it away.
The best illustration, of course, of the 40-yard touchdown pass just moments ago from Jimmy Jordan. 2nd and 10, and Jordan wants to go deep again. This time he's going to go underneath as Flowers comes back to make the catch, and you saw the big cushion that Flowers has. When you've gotten them to think deep, Jerry Hill made the stop. They've got to give you something underneath.
Let's watch it from the ground level, and Flowers will push deep. He'll get the defensive backs to thinking deep so that they'll retreat. Then when he curls up, he comes back to the ball. Let's watch him come back towards the passer, which gives him the decided advantage. Excellent throw, fine reception, and a big first down for Florida State.
5th catch of the day for 148 yards for Jackie Flowers. First down for Florida State from the 21. Jordan now 13 of 28 for 285 yards. Whiting. First and goal inside the 10. Willie Teal made the tackle, and the Florida State offense is starting to control the football game.
Let's watch it on the ground level, and you see excellent blocking by the left side of the Florida State line. Good kick-out block by the fullback Lyles, and Whiting cuts inside of his block, back outside to pick up his flanker's block, and goes all the way to the 7- and 8-yard line. Jim, I think we should mention right here that Jimmy Jordan holds the world's record for the amount of yardage in one season, 4,000 and something yards.
His senior year at Tallahassee Leon High School. And the Florida State record had been set the year before by the other FSU quarterback, Woodham. On first and goal from the 8, Whiting comes back to the middle of the field and gets down to about the 5. That is Ron Simmons. And it appears that he is being administered to for perhaps a cramp.
On a hot day like this, Jim, and stadium like this, closed in at both ends, very little wind, as hard as he's played, it's likely a cramp. We hope that that's all it is.
Nose guard takes so much contact. Pounded from every side. Hardis Johnson to the top of your screen. And Jimmy Jordan backs away from the line of scrimmage. They're in the student end of Tiger Stadium. It could be that the noise made it difficult for him to get his signals to the rest of the team. So we'll be back in a moment with FSU leading. John Simmons is up and mobile again. We'll expect to see him back in the ballgame. Look at the biceps. He can bench press 550 pounds. Unbelievable strength. Second down goal now for Florida State from the 8. Jordan threw it into the middle of a crowd trying to hit Hardest Johnson. Jerry Hill was the man who got a hand on the football. He will force the ball, won't he?
He will. That was one thing that's kept him as a substitute quarterback and going in relief. Watch him throw the ball. He, in a crowd right there, might have been intercepted. Two LSU defenders there. The same pass, though, Jim, that they scored their first touchdown, and LSU had made a mistake on their pass coverage.
That time they had it covered. Phil Williams to the top of your screen. Jackie Flowers to the bottom on 3rd and goal. Broken play. Interception. Lyman White with the ball. He made a mistake trying to run it out, and a flag is down as White gets it back only to the 2-yard line.
Jim, I would guess that it could either be, the umpire calls that play. It's either offensive pass interference. I believe that's what it is. Let's see if we can detect it again. Over to the left of your screen, it looks like it's going to be pass offense of interference by the offense. Back in the left corner of your screen.
Now, Lyman White had a chance to down this football and set LSU up at the 20-yard line.
Well, that's a tough call. He wasn't sure he caught the ball in the field of play, Jim, and took it in the end zone, which would have been a safety. So that without risking any chance, he came back out.
First down from the 3-yard line. Ensminger in the football game for LSU. He wants to throw from his end zone. Deep, Carlos Carson. Good defense by Florida State. Bonasort was back in the deep zone and had a beat on the ball all the way.
Right now is the time that Florida State will want to double cover the receivers with 8 minutes to play, leading by 8 points, force the ball to throw inside where you have a chance for your linebackers to make the play.
Carson might have felt more at home over there on the FSU bench. He's from West Palm Beach, you know.
And they discovered him looking at the film of another player and saw what ability he had and offered him a scholarship. LSU did.
Second down 10. Gaijan is met. Herring was there. Warren was there. Arthur Scott, number 54, was there, and so was Walter Carter. Walter Carter, 76, a senior defensive tackle from Richmond, Virginia, has played very well.
He's been in the backfield. He's been able to get penetration against the run, which is what you mustn't allow as an offensive unit. He's been given LSU some bad plays.
There's one of the most sought-after properties in college football. Anybody who can do the kind of job he has done at Florida State is regarded as the kind of miracle worker you want everywhere. Ensminger throws it out of bounds, and that was 3rd down. So now LSU will have a punting situation. Carter dumped Ensminger back in the end zone, but no flag went down.
Jim, the two things that we say in coaching, we start out and say, let's don't beat ourselves, man. We're going to that ball game. We're not going to beat ourselves. We're not going to give them an easy touchdown. LSU has done both. They've given easy touchdowns and they've fumbled the ball.
Tough spot for John Adams, the senior defensive end from DeRidder, Louisiana, punting from the back line. And his 8th punt of the day sails out to the 40-yard line. Good kick from that position, but Gary Henry has a wall. Jesse Miles was the man who knocked Henry out of bounds. So after the 38-yard punt by Adams and the short run back by Henry, Florida State will start at the 29 when we come back. The man on the left, he's on the rise. His stock is rising. The man on the right is at the end of a long and illustrious career. Bobby Bowden, Charlie McClendon, 2 fine human beings and 2 fine football coaches. First down for Florida State from the 29. Whiting gets it down to the 24-yard line. Michael Whiting has stuck his head in and worked hard today. Florida State for the longest time could get nothing going on the ground. Now they've started to move the ball reasonably well in that department. That was a pickup of 5. It is second down 5. We've got 7 minutes, 16 seconds remaining.
Jim Whiting was a backup fullback and moved the tailback for this game, and a smart move by Bobby Bowden.
Seminoles are thin at tailback. As you see Lyles, the fullback, plowing ahead, and he's very close to a Florida State first down. Before the season, Florida State's starting tailback from a year ago, Holmes Johnson, left the football team and went home to Lake Hamilton, Florida. Then Greg Ramsey had the job. He tore up a knee against Virginia Tech 3 games ago. So the Seminoles are down to third string in the tailback department.
Jim, I think it's evident that the momentum has changed so drastically that Florida State, which had very little or no success running the football, now the momentum, the fortunes have changed. LSU is getting discouraged. Florida State is fired up right now, and consequently, they get movement and yardage on the ground.
A lot of people say that this is an impossible place for a visiting team to play, Tiger Stadium. But one statistic I found remarkable. LSU has beaten only 2 teams with winning records in the last 5 years. So to some extent, I think, the idea that this was a terrible place to try to come visit for Florida State was a bit of a myth. Whiting pounds inside and gets 3 yards down to the 16-yard line. I'm not saying that LSU is a weak football team, just that Charlie McClendon has been outgunned a little bit going against some of the top teams in the game.
Charlie Mack is one of the most popular and admired and respected people in the coaching profession. Long, illustrious career, as you've already mentioned, Jim.
Come on, tighten up, D.
In his 18th year at LSU, time permitting, College Football Scoreboard will follow this game immediately. Meanwhile, we'll continue to keep you up to date on as many scores as possible. On 2nd down 7, that was Whiting with the football, and he has yardage down to the 16-yard line. As the game comes to a close, Frank Royals and I will be choosing Chevrolet Most Valuable Players for both sides, Florida State and LSU. A $1,000 scholarship in the name of each will go to his respective school's general scholarship fund, and from there into the hands of a deserving student from the overall student body. Student, or students, I should say. There's Jimmy Jordan. He's a hot candidate as he gives to Whiting. And Whiting on 3rd down is short of a first down as he moves the football to the middle of the field. The field goal unit will come on.
Jim, Bobby Bowden told me this morning, says, I'm putting my neck right in a noose by starting Jordan, but this is the first time I think that he's gone with one quarterback for the entire game since the 2 of them have been playing there together for 3 years.
To my knowledge, that is exactly correct. A calculated gamble. He came out with Jordan in the quarterback role, and he has stuck with him all the way. Just felt like this would be Jimmy's kind of game. This is a 30-yard field goal try for Capellan, and Davy Capellan's kick is good. So Florida State has extended the lead to 24-13 with less than 5 minutes to go. We'll come back to watch LSU's last gasps after this. Capice on the right to kick it. Number 14 deep to receive it is freshman running back Jesse Miles. Miles, who scored the winning touchdown a week ago against Kentucky. Gets it back to the 30-yard line. Miles was a key figure in the first half, even though he handled the ball on only 1 play, as you look at Davy Capellan, because it was a fumbled exchange between a quarterback and Jesse Miles, which gave Florida State the football toward the end of the first half and set up a 53-yard touchdown pass, Jimmy Jordan to Hardis Johnson, that put the Seminoles back on top in the game after they trailed 13-7. College Football 79 tomorrow, citing highlights over all those games. Over most of our ABC stations. Check your local listings for the time of College Football 79 in your area. You look at Scott Warren, who almost had an interception on that pass intended for Tracy Porter from Steve Ensminger.
Jim, in recapping, I know LSU is going to figure what happened to them. We had the game going our way in the first half. We were leading by 6 points. We were going for another touchdown. We left it on the ground. Florida State hits a touchdown right before the half. They went in with a momentum, and that's all she wrote.
One team is explosive, and the other isn't. That has made a difference today. 2nd down 10. Porter. Out to midfield. Ensminger is going to fill the air, I would think, as LSU will try to keep their hopes alive with a quick score.
This presents a problem to the pass blocking of the offensive line for LSU. Florida State can ignore the run, charge across, and get a good jump on the pass rush and limit Ensminger to the time that he has to select his receivers.
19-yard pickup on that play. Ensminger's now 4 of 12 for 68 yards. This one he throws into the ground, again intended for Tracy Porter. Paul Purowski was there to cover.
Jim, let me just mention that one thing that happens to a football coach, he plays a certain style of defensive backfield play against the receivers on his B team that he's working against all week, and you cover the receivers, and all of a sudden you're up against a 4-4 and 4-3 receiver, and they run right by you, and that's probably what happened in this game today. LSU thought they could play that style of play, but they haven't been able to work against that type of receiver with the speed.
Second down. And that is Orlando McDaniel, a sophomore from Lake Charles, Louisiana. And his catch for 22 yards moves the football down to the 28-yard line.
Let's watch McDaniel, 32, go over in the middle. The best place to throw on a prevent defense is deep behind the linebackers. Drop the ball, loft it right over the linebackers in front of the safety. You can see that Insminger has to lob it over the linebackers, and good concentration by McDaniel.
Now Insminger wants timeout. So with 3 minutes, 52 seconds remaining, and Florida State leading at 24-13, Steve Insminger will come to talk to Charlie McClendon.
The reason, Jim, that he didn't like the play called was the double coverage on both wide receivers. A linebacker dropped deep over the tight end so that they could defend against his 3 first-line receivers. So he very wisely said, I can't afford an interception here, and he calls timeout, and he's going over and talk to the offensive coaches and say, hey, fellas, coach, we've got double coverage. What are we going to do?
A mark of Florida State's explosiveness, the Seminoles struggled with a sluggish running game and poor field position through much of today's game, but in total offense, they lead with 386 yards to 311 for LSU.
It all turned around from that fumble, Jim. Right before the half, LSU leading, going in for the second touchdown, the third touchdown of the game. They fumbled, and in one play, that's the advantage of a committed passing attack. They can score in a hurry.
It happened so fast. The fumble by Miles, the 53-yard touchdown pass, Jordan to Johnson, and suddenly, Florida State, which had appeared to be in trouble, was back on top. Insminger, McDaniel, inside the 15-yard line.
Excellent timing by Insminger and McDaniel. He waited, quarterback Insminger waited until McDaniel came inside the linebacker and had the ball right on the money, right on the numbers for completion.
Second catch for Orlando McDaniel, 6'1", 175 pounds. Charlie Mack won't be here to enjoy his contributions for the next 2 years. That time, Insminger throws the ball out of the end zone and out of bounds, so that will make it second down 10. LSU has the football at the 12.5-yard line of Florida State as they try to get back to within 24-20. There's Jimmy Jordan, and he is the Chevrolet most valuable player in the ball game for Florida State. Bobby Bowden, with a calculated gamble today, elected to go with Jordan, who had not started a football game this year, and he has responded. 13 out of 30 in the air, but he's not a percentage passer. He's a bomber. 285 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jones and Swallow behind Insminger. He lofts it. Carlos Carson.
Jim, that was a thing of beauty. What we call the alley-oop pass. Insminger throws the ball immediately after the snap on a quick drop back. Carlos Carson, let's watch him. He's going to go to the outside, looking over his inside shoulder. Insminger's going to lay it up. Butler, 21, is playing man for man. He doesn't see the ball. Touchdown. LSU will have to go for 2 and then have an onside kick.
Second touchdown catch of the year for Carlos Carson. And just like that, LSU's back in the football game. Gaijan in motion. He wanted to hit Murphy in the corner of the end zone and couldn't get it. So that will leave it at 24-19. LSU will need a touchdown, but there's 3:22, plenty of time remaining. We'll be back to Tiger Stadium for the final moments. The LSU scoring drive, 6 plays, 70 yards. It took 1 minute and 31 seconds. The touchdown, a 13-yard pass from Insminger to that man, Carlos Carson. You see his statistics on the day, 4 catches for 78 yards. And with that catch, Carlos Carson has suddenly loomed up as a candidate for Chevrolet MVP for LSU. We'll wait. There's plenty of football left. Curtis Johnson dropped at the 20.
Be assured that LSU will be grabbing at the football. They'll be telling their defensive players, hey, we got to get him on the ground, force a kick, but at the same time, let's try to jar the ball loose and have excellent field position, a chance to win this game. 6 points wins it.
The capacity of Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, where the Seminoles are used to playing, is about 48,000. Here, 30,000 more people, and those 30,000 more will be making a lot of noise for the next few minutes. So this is a test for the poise of unbeaten and 7th-ranked Florida State. There's the man who's brought them this far today, Jimmy Jordan. Lyles on first down has only a couple. And suddenly the LSU defense, which looked flat throughout some of this fourth quarter, has reason to be motivated again.
But the reason is they're back in the ball game.
You look at the big score from up in South Bend. South Carolina led at one point in that ball game, 17-3.
Jim, Notre Dame evidently had to go for 2, either on this first touchdown or the second touchdown to win the game.
Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. Second down, 8. Flowers, big play. Across the 50 to the LSU 48. 29-yard completion. You live by the pass, you die by the pass.
Bobby Bowden says we're going to throw, we're going to force you to defend the field from sideline to sideline and depth to depth. This is the post corner. Watch Flowers go hard to the inside. It freezes Williams, and then he comes back to the outside before number 22, Chris Williams, can get back in the play. Excellent throw. Very fine pass running.
6 catches, 174 yards on the day for Jackie Flowers. What a potent force he is. Lyles. Down to the 46-yard line. Biggest contribution of the day by the FSU running backs. They have not fumbled.
That is a key factor, as I've said earlier, that
we look at scores from the top 10. Keep talking, Coach.
Well, as the fans watch the scores, every game, Jim, don't beat yourself. Don't turn the ball over, and by all means, don't allow a big play. Don't give them an easy touchdown.
LSU has 2 timeouts remaining. The clock is running as Florida State keeps moving the football. This time, Lyles on the Statue of Liberty, and he's got a lot of running room. Inside the 20. Robert DeRudy and Chris Williams were the men who finally brought him down. A 28-yard pickup for Lyles, and that may be the straw that broke the camel's back.
A Statue of Liberty play. And obviously, LSU was penetrating across the line of scrimmage, and as Jordan dropped back, he put the ball on his hip. Lyles picked it off, circled the defense.
Fourth quarter update on the Southern Cal California game. The Golden Bears giving the Trojans all they can handle. 17-14. Paul McDonald against Rich Campbell. Those are 2 excellent quarterbacks. Lyles pounding forward inside the 15 to the 14. A minute 5, a minute 4. LSU still has not used one of their 2 timeouts. Lyles on the day now, 16 carries for 86 yards, and that has taken some effort for him to reach those statistics.
But the calculated risk of Bobby Bowden starting Jimmy Jordan for the first time after the other starter, Woodham, had won 10 consecutive ball games is something that took a lot of guts.
You better believe it. He hung it all out here today. Michael Whiting outside to the 10-yard line. Chevrolet most valuable players in the game. We've already mentioned for Florida State, it is Jimmy Jordan, the quarterback. For LSU, the man who got them back into it momentarily, Carlos Carson. Great little wide receiver who had 4 catches for 78 yards in the football game, and his touchdown just a few moments ago closed it to 24-19. Now, with Florida State controlling, 3rd down, 2 yards to go at the 11-yard line, LSU has used one of their 2 timeouts, but there are only 30 seconds remaining.
Again, I think we ought to recap for the fans who joined us late. LSU was in control of the game in the first half. Looked like they had complete control. They were going in for their 3rd touchdown. They fumbled, and in one play, Jimmy Jordan hit Johnson on a touchdown pass to go ahead 14-13, and from that point, a stunned, disappointed LSU team went into the dressing room. came out, and it was a different Florida State team and definitely a different LSU game in this team in the second half.
Let's speculate for a moment. Florida State wins this game. They are 7-0. Remaining, Cincinnati, South Carolina at Tallahassee, Memphis State at Tallahassee, and at Florida. Perhaps the toughest game left against South Carolina in Tallahassee. If the Seminoles go 11-0, they will be in the same kind of position that Maryland was 2 years ago. Unbeaten, but will one of the three major bowl games, Cotton, Orange, or Sugar, take a chance on them? We don't know. Orange Bowl Scouts have watched the Seminoles play. They would prefer not to take a team from within the state of Florida, but they might have to take Florida State if the Seminoles go 11-0.
The reason, Jim, is pressure, and Florida State would deserve it.
LSU uses their last timeout as they force the 4th down for Florida State. So with 25 seconds left, and that's the score, we'll be back. On 4th down, Florida State went with a running play rather than to kick a field goal. Ricky Williams was trapped in his own backfield and dumped for a 10-yard loss back at the LSU 21-yard line. And with 17 seconds left, Steve Ensminger will have 1 or 2 last chances to put the ball up to try to hit somebody deep and get LSU back in the football game.
They've just got 10 players on the field. LSU just has 10 players. Tight ends not in the ball game.
3 of them are wide receivers. He wants Carson. And Bonasort has another interception. The 7th interception of the year for Monk Bonasort. What a game he's played. We gave the Chevy MVP award to Jordan, and he certainly deserved it. But this man had 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and was all over the field.
A free safety is just a freelancer, just what the term means. He's play all over the field, watch the quarterback. When he pitches off on the option, come up and tackle on the line of scrimmage. If he throws from one sideline to the other, you break with a throw of the quarterback and get there. Perfectly played by him on that particular day.
We've seen some remarkable individual performances. Jordan, Jackie Flowers, Carlos Carson, Atiya and Simmons, both middle guards. Running backs, Lyles and Gaijan. And that man, Bobby Bowden. The offense had been under wraps a little bit for the first 6 games of the season. And now as Jordan falls on the ball, the clock will run out, and that'll do it. LSU moves to 4-3 on the season. Florida State goes to 7-0. And yes, America, the 7th-ranked Seminoles are for real. So they have passed the toughest test so far this year. They have come here to LSU. They must do it every year for the next 4 years. And they have beaten LSU 24-19. Bobby Bowden gets a ride off the field. And a disappointed band of Fighting Tigers from LSU go out the other side. Right now, let's go to our studios in New York to Chris Schenkel and Dave Dials for further updates on college football today.